Welcome to the Final Buzzer Podcast. This is week number 15, coming in at you hot with some bold predictions. This is recorded on a Tuesday, December 11th. Hope you guys enjoy this week. We're going to talk about NFL, NBA news, and all the latest sports news for you. This is the Final Buzzer Podcast. What a wonderful week we had in the NFL this week, guys. Absolute amazing games. Primetime games, more or less a hit or miss, in my opinion anyways. What do you guys think? What was your all's biggest and best games of the week?
I'm obviously going to have to go with my Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Going into overtime. Absolutely wonderful game.
Although we put up, close to 600 all-purpose yards, it was a much closer game than it needed to be. Our offense was, Dak threw 2 interceptions that game. Amari Cooper proved that he's worth the first-round pick that we gave for him in next year's draft.
Still disagree.
I agree. I agree with Andrew here. I think you shouldn't pay more than a second round, but we'll continue on that later.
When you have almost 300 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in a quarter,
I still think it's
and
first
a half.
I don't know, but still 24 years old. Doesn't change the fact how old he is. But let's go on and get on to Mr. Andrew's team over here. Special guest.
We're not talking about
Not about that yet? All right.
Go ahead. No, it's fine.
We have our special
Talk about
guest.
the Steelers against the Raiders.
Absolutely.
This fucking game. So this week, once again, Steelers go on the road, play a team you should beat, and lose again. I fucking hate this team right now.
They definitely put you in a weird spot.
The thing is, Big Ben gets hurt. We're up 14-10 in the third quarter, going into halftime.
Yep. And
Big Ben doesn't come out to start the second half. Said there's a rib injury. And so we play Josh Dobbs. Most people are like, we'll still be able to win this game. Well, we already don't have James Conner. So you're like, all right, we go out and throws a pick, then they score. Still keep Dobbs in. And, go down, keep falling more behind. Put Big Ben in. You score first possession. Why, if he could play that one possession to take the lead, why couldn't he have played the rest of the game?
Exactly what I'm the same way with you. They definitely waited too long to start Big Ben, and 2, he should have played the whole game. Aaron Rodgers played week 1 or week 2 with a major knee injury.
Yeah,
that's
week
affected
1.
him. Yeah, week 1 with a major knee injury against the Bears. He could have played through a rib injury.
I don't want to question Big Ben's toughness because I don't know how many times he's been hurt and played 2 games. But it was just a bad decision by Tomlin because if – I know it's the Raiders, but we need this game. We can't afford to lose to the Raiders whenever we play New England and New Orleans the next 2 weeks.
That's definitely a rough road.
So now you have to win at least one of these next 2 games and beat the Bengals, which that's no guarantee because this division it's a division game. You don't guarantee you don't.
But it's the hurt Bengals, though.
It's the Raiders.
At week 17.
Anything can happen, especially with our rivalry. And I'm not one to say that we're capable of anything right now because we're hurt. But it's just this kind of game. It's always played with another level.
Absolutely.
The amount of aggression, anger, and heart that's played in this game.
The amount of injuries that happened in this game.
It's just different. It's just a different game.
Now you lose to the Raiders. Now you got the Patriots game coming up, which I know we'll get to in a little bit. But now this, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. But
that's rather impressive, honestly.
But here's the thing: how many years has Mike Tomlin led this team to a Super Bowl? Only twice. Let me ask you guys this: is that acceptable? I don't think so. With this talent,
with Big Ben as my quarterback, I would say no.
How long?
He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Antonio Brown's been on the team for 5-6 years. Le'Veon Bell. But even before then, we still had good teams. We were still in the AFC title game. I'm tired of this narrative that, oh, well, it's because you couldn't beat the Patriots.
I'm going to say, we got to think about what your confidence.
So you're telling me it's okay to be second fiddle? Like, this franchise has built itself on being the quote-unquote best in the NFL. And we've accepted, now we're coming to the point where we accept, oh, well, this is just what happens. Like, losing on the road to a team we shouldn't beat, oh, it's just what happens. No, that's bullshit. So I'm not saying we should fire Tomlin. Not at all.
Tomlin's a great coach.
Yeah.
He's done great
good
things.
Coach.
He's done great things. He's done great things for you. Okay.
Once again, good coach. He has talent. He's done great things.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It's like, look. I think Dirk Cutter. You could still win games with Dirk Cutter as your coach with this team.
Maybe with that team. Yeah.
Well, look,
there you go. There you go.
Dallas has been to the playoffs like 2 or 3 times with Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett is just as bad as Cutter.
I promise you that Jason Garrett's worse.
I feel right about the game that Derek Cutter took over offensive play calling. We had 500 yards and 3 touchdowns.
At least he takes over offensive play calling.
Great point. But just to interject with your Steelers real quick. Again, I know you said that you can't excuse the Patriots just because they're good, but I think that honestly, football is one. Yes, your star players are important.
Right.
It's important that they have Gronk and they have Brady.
Right.
But you got to look at the secondary players. Even though they're not big name players, those guys they're role players. Just like in the NBA, they're great players that play their role great, and they play 11-man football.
But it's more important in football to have those
exactly. They have an 11-man team.
In the NBA, you can get by.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
having one. You can't win all the way. Maybe when we saw LeBron,
you can.
Yeah.
We had Kyrie.
Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson.
I take it back.
You have to, look in pro sports. You have to have a good surrounding cast.
Exactly.
You can't for example. Here's a really good example of why you can't do it by yourself. Look how long Drew Brees went without making a deep run in the playoffs when he had nobody around him.
Drew Brees is an average quarterback. This year he's showing he's elite. He's okay.
I'm walking out.
This ends my appearance on this podcast.
He's less than 6
serious.
Less than average.
No.
I will give him this season. He's
a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I will give you that. He's
there's nothing average about a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well, okay. But he is okay at what he does. Sean Payton has put him in a great situation. Without Sean Payton, he was at the Chargers. Look what he did in San Diego. With the Chargers.
Great things.
He didn't.
He did
okay. He's better than Philip Rivers. I'll give you that. Philip Rivers
is a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback.
Is he the best in the league right now?
Drew Brees?
Drew Brees.
Yes.
Absolutely. You are both liars. Patrick Mahomes
yes.
MVP. MVP candidate.
No.
Give me that.
Patrick Mahomes.
Give me that.
You can't. Oh no, give me Brees.
No.
Are you serious?
Yes. I take career accomplishment over top of a lucky season.
On an MVP. Most valuable player of the season.
No. Now listen.
Over top of a lucky season.
This is getting heated. Look at those lines right now. Y'all will definitely hear that headphone warning and volume warning real quick. But
and I think part of this is my fault.
That's okay.
But here's the thing.
I'm sitting really close.
Here's the thing, though. If you base it off one season, it's kind of naive to do that. Because if you think about it, everybody thought RG3 was going to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be nothing.
I wanted to support him so much.
Absolutely.
So RG3?
Yeah. Absolutely.
People thought Tim Tebow was going to have a long career after what he did to
Long live the king.
After what he did to Pittsburgh. Once again, Mike Tomlin was the head coach of that team, you jackass. You have to be able to do it more than one season. So that's why I don't necessarily buy Mahomes as being better than Brees yet. Brees, if you take Brees off this team, they may win 4 or 5 games. If you take Mahomes off the Chiefs, it's a system. Andy Reid won a division with Alex Smith.
I'll give you that. But you think the similar way with Tom Brady, though. So, Tom Brady's a system quarterback. If you watch his throws, watch it, he's a check-down quarterback, and when they start playing tight coverage, he goes, oh, look, Josh Gordon's actually really fast and a really good guy.
Have you
that's
seen
what they
that
do.
video where they're just like, oh, let's review Tom
They've
Brady's
done that,
game
but
film.
that's the thing.
And he's like, I threw it a whopping 1 yard over top of the line of scrimmage.
They've done it from week 1 to week 14, whatever we're in right now, week 15 going into or whatever. I mean, it's just the way it works sometimes. But even then, you can't not acknowledge how great Patrick Mahomes has been.
Yes.
He's a great young guy, and he is the future of this league right now. He is the most valuable player on the roster. Without, I don't believe it. I
disagree, and I
think Drew Brees, Michael Thomas has had an amazing year, and both teams have great offensive weapons.
You're telling me that they need Michael Thomas more than they need Drew Brees. I'm going to tell you why that's not true.
But because any QB off the team.
When they beat the Falcons a couple weeks ago, Thanksgiving night.
Okay.
You know, can you name me any of the guys that caught those touchdowns?
They had 3 touchdowns to non-draft.
To tight ends and fullbacks that no one can name.
Yeah. Because Michael Thomas was on the field getting double coverage right now.
Exactly. That's why Drew Brees is such a great quarterback.
Just like Juju is a great receiver because Antonio Brown's on the other side of the line. I don't believe it. I can't buy into that. I can't buy into that.
I'm glad you went there.
I can't buy into that.
Juju is better than Mike Evans.
Give me another year. Give me another year and I will back. Give me another year. Give me another year.
The same Jameis Winston argument we hear every single year.
I'm fine with that claim. I am fine with it. Yeah, exactly.
Look,
I'm fine with that claim.
Out of all the teams in this room, there's only one wide receiver on anybody's team that is better than Juju, and that's AJ Green when he's healthy.
For sure.
When he's healthy. But again, he's healthy for 8 weeks of the year. That's the problem.
So in my opinion, it would go like, just in the, like, Brown, then Green, then Juju, then Mike Evans, then probably Deshaun Jackson, then probably Scrub, then Amari Cooper.
Okay,
but
no.
I'm kidding on that one. That was just a shot.
Amari Cooper's over Deshaun Jackson.
It was just a joke.
For sure.
But I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster is a wide receiver that would be a number one receiver on any other team that doesn't. Like, would he be a number one receiver on the Giants? No. Would he be number one receiver on the Bengals? Maybe not.
So he's an elite. You're saying he's an elite receiver right now. He's an elite. He's a top
15.
receiver.
Yeah, I would say he's top half of the league. Yeah.
I think he's great. I don't know. Again, we've never seen him play without Antonio.
Well,
I just don't think he's as great when he takes double coverage because he's a fast guy. He's almost a slot like guy. Did you see the same? Right. I see him as a Randall Cobb type guy who's good. Like you said, but think about who the Packers have besides Devontae Adams has really expressed himself in the last couple of years being a great receiver, but Randall Cobb has been relatively unheard of until they're double coveraging.
Let me ask you this, and you bring up the Packers. How good are those receivers really? Because anytime they leave Rodgers, they suck. Just like any receiver that was. I disagree. Actually, Plaxico Burress had a great career.
I'll give you Brandon Cook or whatever as well.
And Antoine Randall was the same way when he left Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh has actually always had good receivers. Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
So like that's different. Like because Big Ben's great, but Big Ben is not a quarterback that makes the players around him that much better.
Yeah, I'll agree. Yeah.
Like he's great, but he's not. He's not on the level of Peyton, Brady.
I put him on that level.
And Rodgers.
I put him at that level.
I think he's right underneath it. I think he's on the Brett Favre level. I think Brett Favre is below all of those guys.
Okay.
I think Brett Favre
which is seeing one of the greatest in history, Brett Favre.
How do you view his comments about him not caring about the turnovers, the interceptions?
Who, Big Ben?
Yes.
Well, I get it. I mean, you still got to clean it up, but you got to be able to, I mean, most of his turnovers are off taking chances and trying to make plays. So it happens. So I get where he's coming from, but you still, to beat the other top tier teams, you got to clean it up. If not, you won't. Which we haven't.
I'm 100% okay with that comment, though.
I am too.
Because I like that. That means that he's not scared of taking chances. Yeah, I don't like. That's what I want. Like, I don't want you to throw an interception.
Right.
But if you're doing it because you know the game's on the line and I got to get a score,
yes.
I want you to throw the ball 10 out of 10. I want you to throw the ball 10 out of 10 times because if that's the game or not, go for it.
Right. I'll give you an example of a guy that is scared to throw picks is Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And we can kind of talk about them. They lost now 4 straight games.
They're looking.
They have 4 games. I mean, they lose to the Browns, which, by the way, Bengals, Steelers, Ravens fans, you need to be scared if they hire a good coach.
Oh yeah,
I am too.
I believe
like
Baker Mayfield.
I do too, and I love that pick. I loved that pick when they made it. Like people hated it. People were like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
I bought the jersey. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah,
I wanted to buy the jersey, but I'm a Steelers fan, so I can't do it.
He's He's already poised.
Yeah.
And he's only a rookie.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm scared.
He's gonna have a great career. Like
As long as he doesn't get hurt.
yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And to kind of go into that game, Baker looked better than Cam Newton. Cam Newton, they're talking like he's hurt possibly, which is fine, but you bring up being scared to throw interceptions. Cam talks like he's scared to throw interceptions, but he'll go out and throw 4 picks. Like he did 2 weeks ago.
Especially
against the Bucks. Yeah.
against the
That was the week he threw 4 picks.
and he threw 3 to one guy.
Yeah.
So with that comment with Big Ben, I was fine with it. So, but we kind of need to move on to another game because I could talk to the Steelers thing. Well,
Before we go to the game.
Well, one last thing.
Yeah,
One last thing about that. Let me get your guys' opinion. So if the Steelers miss the playoffs this year somehow, which is still
It's still possible. Yeah.
Do they start thinking about moving on from Tomlin,
I think
I don't know. I think
or at least think about it?
I don't think so.
So I think that after this year,
Of course you don't. You kept Marvin Lewis for 16 years.
But I'm not okay with that, though.
So-
I'm not okay with that.
So if I'm them, I keep your coach just in case Big Ben retires because it's a possibility.
Well, here's the thing. How much has Tomlin done? How much success has he had that has actually been because of Big Ben? Can he do the same thing?
That's what I'm getting at. I would let him try that and
Try to see? Okay.
Yeah, try that and see what success he can have without Big Ben.
If you look at the kind of the history of things, most of the time it goes by kind of rules of 2. 2 quarterbacks go before usually 1 head coach, and 2 GMs go, or 2 head coaches go before 1 GM goes.
Right.
I would give Tomlin a couple years with the new quarterback because obviously Drew Brees is getting near that age, like everyone else
Ben
is.
Roethlisberger, not Drew Brees.
I'm sorry, Big Ben is getting. I'm sorry, I was thinking of Big Ben's getting to that age right now where it's starting to get questionable.
Yeah.
Give him a couple years with the new quarterback. And see how he does, and then at that point you got to move on. You got to figure out where the problem lies, and that's what the Packers did with Mike McCarthy. They realized Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. It's the head coaching position, or
Well, and here's the thing with the Packers thing. I wasn't on this podcast last week, but they got rid of him. But the GM is part of the problem too, because look, they have nobody on the team. Look, that talent is almost just as bad as the amount of talent that's on the Bills.
You got to work a win now foundation when you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
Yes, and they have nobody to win now.
Exactly.
Their offensive line is breaking down. The wide receivers, they really don't have anybody other than Devontae Adams. Randall Cobb stays hurt. Who is Valdez-Scantling? Who is St. Brown? Marquez St. Brown.
It'll be one of those guys.
And then and Jimmy Graham, who once again is going unused.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Drew Brees needs him back. I need to see. I mean, we don't really want to see that unless you want to see him win the Super Bowl, which they're probably going to anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, right now Green Bay has a 3% chance to make the playoffs.
And they're not going to.
They're not going
No.
to. Yeah.
That's a bad team.
Yeah.
This is just completely and absolutely unrelated, other than the fact that we said his name one time today. Tim Tebow. Do you think that there was a spot in the NFL for him?
No.
And he got
No. If there's not a spot for Colin Kaepernick, there's not a spot for Tim Tebow.
I agree with that sentiment.
I think it's okay. Don't look at me weird when I
Hold
say
on.
this.
Go
And
ahead.
I don't mean it it's not at all the same scenario. But do you think a little bit of it was because of the attention he was getting because he was kneeling and praying?
No.
Because that was a big deal that they kept talking about.
The kneeling and praying thing, no, but the attention he kept getting from, when he got picked up by the Jets and how the whole coverage was literally about Tim Tebow, but he was going to come in and be a third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes, that I do agree with. It's the circus that came with him, but not necessarily about the religious stance.
Similar as it has with him in baseball.
Yeah.
You hired him because he
sells jerseys.
Yeah, that's why they wanted him for that.
I honestly wish that New England would have kept Tim Tebow when they had him.
Stop it.
I do.
No, they would have found a way to use him.
Exactly.
I think there's a spot for him, and I don't know. I know he was unwilling to accept another position, but I think he could have done something different.
I know a lot of people are going to want to come through the podcast and kill me when I say this. Isn't the Lamar Jackson thing kind of an example that maybe Tim Tebow could have worked in the NFL?
And I think
because look at maybe not now, but look at Lamar. which we can go ahead and talk about that for a minute.
I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
They played the Chiefs. They outplayed the Chiefs for most of the game until overtime. And you look at how difficult it is to game plan for Lamar Jackson, even though throwing is not his strong.
But when you have to take a guy off defense and run chase 5, it makes things a lot harder.
Yes, it does. Like so, it will open up the passing game. So him being in the game makes it harder for the defense to game plan. So with that being said, so I kind of get what you're saying with Tebow, but I just don't think that Tebow is worth the headache. I think is the issue, and I think even though rightfully or wrongfully so, I think that's the same problem with Kaepernick.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it's the same problem with Kaepernick. It's just the media.
Because the Redskins, look at this. I mean, they started down 40-0 on Sunday against the Giants with Mark Sanchez, who I still think deserves to be on a roster, but as a backup.
Yeah, which he is.
Third string,
the third string,
Yeah.
So, but like, you're telling me Mark Sanchez could come in
and
get beat by 40.
To be fair, you have to look at it scheme-wise.
But Kaepernick can't come in and
Kaepernick runs a very West Coast offense. If you look at when he was
any different than being down 40-0?
It may not matter at 40-0, but you got to look at the scheme wise. He's got to come in a week
I
and
don't
learn
think it matters, man. In that sense, it doesn't.
Give me a second.
Kaepernick is superior talent.
Give me a second. He's been out of the league for 2 years now, correct?
How long has Sanchez been out?
Without playing a meaningful snap.
But it doesn't matter. But practice. Kaepernick has been at an NFL practice. I'm just saying, you got to think scheme wise. Like Mark Sanchez has worked under the offensive coordinator, the QB coach, and several other of the coaching staff. He's very familiar with the system. It doesn't matter.
Bubble recovery.
He still may suck, but at the end of the day, he's going to know the terminology. He's going to know the scheme. He's going to know how to play that offense instead of Kaepernick going, "Oh, I got to hand off." Like, how do I do a handoff? Like when you know the basics, when you know that a 6-yard halfback dive, or that you know how far your running back's running back, when you have things that you don't have to question in the NFL. That makes things easier to get the more advanced
NFL player. He would be smart enough to come in and do just fine.
But I don't agree. He played
under a former NFL quarterback in Jim Harbaugh. So you're telling me that he played under a coach who's super smart at the game, so he has to have another coach? No. I think Kaepernick is smart enough to do that. So
at this point now, yes, because is Sanchez out? Is Sanchez out for a couple of weeks? Because he did get benched. Or I guess he didn't get hurt.
He's not going to start. I think they're going to start that Josh Johnson.
Yeah, I think they should definitely have an open, just like they do in Pittsburgh right now. I'm not trying to bring up Pittsburgh with the kicker. Yes, they should have open quarterback tryouts. Anyone who wants to walk out, anybody who wants to walk on right now and try at a quarterback position should be able to try out.
Also, to answer your question about Mark Sanchez, the last meaningful...
It was like 2015, right?
2014.
He played for the Cowboys.
No, 2014 he played for the Eagles.
He played for the Cowboys for a little bit. He was back up to
2016, yes.
And then he played again for the Patriots. No. Who did he play for when he had Buffalo? Buffalo, he played
the
against
Jets, but that was like
2014,
2013.
2009 to 2012. And then 2014 to
Continue with your point, Gab.
I'm not leaning either way politically, or rather what he
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
He deserves to fill that void.
But honestly, I agree with you there, though. If anywhere is going to be the place for him, it's going to be the Skins. The Skins have already made a decision that they don't care because they picked up Reuben Foster off waivers when no one else did. They don't care about the off-field issues as long as you come out to play.
Right.
And honestly,
they
should pick up Kareem Hunt. They should pick up Kareem Hunt.
If case against him, they're going to lose that. They're going to lose.
They'll lose it for sure.
Because he'd be on the team right now.
Yeah, he did good against the 49ers. He did get good with the Niners for a little bit.
Although their Gruden brother did say that.
How many times
they
has
were
a quarterback?
They had the discussion about Colin Kaepernick.
Everyone has a conversation.
Of course they did.
Everyone has a conversation. Of course, yeah. Everyone has that conversation. But how many times have you seen a quarterback take a few years off from the league and try and come back? Or
it doesn't matter.
I'll
even if you're picking up Mark Sanchez. then that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're willing to take a
Mark Sanchez
you can't tell
has
that Kaepernick can be
his
worse than
touchdown to
that.
interception ratio is 1-1.
Or even look at Buffalo. They went with Nathan Peterman for 3 or 4
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
You're telling me
But
he
Nathan
can't do
Peterman's
better?
off a team right now. That's the point. They fired Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman was trying to get
He
on.
was
that
a
team.
draft
But-
pick. He
but
was
that's
a
just-
draft pick.
But
to
that's
be
just
fair.
my point, though, is that, and I really didn't even want to, get into the whole Kaepernick thing, but it's just, you can't tell me that it's a talent thing because you.
Oh,
cause
yeah,
he's-
it's not.
Because
No.
he's better than a couple
Yeah.
I won't say starters,
Oh,
but
it
he's
is.
better than a bunch of
Yeah.
the backups in the
Yeah.
league.
I feel if
There's
his
really only
best
like
chance.
2 or 3
which-
teams in the league that have better backups, and Tampa's one of them.
Which at first I agree with it because he was asking for starter money. But now when he says that he'll play for any team and nobody's signing him, that's where I have the
His
issue.
best chance right now
He's
is
Jeff
in the
Driscoll.
Skins.
Like,
Is that
come
the
on.
Skins?
I like Jeff Driscoll.
But
I
Kaepernick's
honestly do.
better. Kaepernick's better.
He
I
is.
will say this: Jeff Driscoll's really not doing much worse than Andy Dalton.
I
I
know,
am
that's what I
just
was
saying.
saying. Yeah, and that's what I told. That's what I told Gep. I was like, you know,
I like him because he can
I don't
run.
know that.
Yeah.
I like him 'cause
He's
he can run.
The last few weeks is all I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the last few weeks
His
that Dalton
touchdowns
played.
aren't near. He doesn't have as many near.
No, but once
touchdowns.
again, he opens up the offense because where he runs.
But look at
And
look
I
at his
love that.
amount
but
of snaps.
I don't think he's better than Dalton.
No, I'm not saying that is not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying performance-wise,
Okay.
he has been on level with what Dalton has done the last couple weeks he played.
Back to Lamar real quick. And I'm
All
going
right,
to say
we'll
is
go
the
back
reason
to
they
that
lost
some
that
point.
game is because the offensive line was done. It was
Yeah.
overtime.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
tired. They couldn't block, and
And-
that's why they lost.
and then Lamar had to go sit
And he
out.
fumbled again.
He got
It's-
hurt.
Yeah.
Is he
It's an
out this
issue.
year, this
No,
week?
he. I
No,
think he's
no,
He
good.
got hurt and then come back in, and then he fumbled in overtime.
Does Joe
Or no,
Flacco
in the
start?
No, he didn't play the last two plays in
RG3.
overtime was RG3.
RG3
Oh,
didn't play.
but that's right. Well, he fumbled in regulation.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
he fumbled in regulation, then got hurt in overtime because his offensive line decided to let the entire Kansas City fan base through their line.
gassed. They were gassed.
Lamar tried to make a play out of it, then
Yeah,
just got rocked.
Well, they finally get Justin Houston back. Justin
Yeah,
Houston's a
yeah.
really good outside
Yeah.
linebacker.
Absolutely, one of the better in the league. What do they do next week with starting quarterback? Joe Flacco back to try and make a playoff run?
At this point, I'd say they're going to keep Lamar in.
Here's the thing.
I still think they. I think
You
they put Joe
can't tell
Flacco.
me that Flacco is the better of the two.
I
Like, Flacco might be the better passer,
Absolutely,
but
to run an
Lamar
offense.
opens your offense way too much.
But you got to think
like-
his
Like
passing.
But Flacco, game plan wise for a defense, all you got to do is be like, all right, so all we got to defend now is a 2-yard check down pass or a deep ball that's looking for passing interference.
And they're not even.
That's all it is.
I'd say it's very slim of them making playoffs, and if that's the case, I don't see them.
Actually,
well, no,
the Steelers are only
yeah.
up half a game in the
But
division.
still, between us,
Yeah,
I
so-
don't
And with
think
Baltimore playing Tampa this week and Pittsburgh playing
New England.
New England
I
this
feel like-
week, it's going to
So-
be very interesting.
So the chance for Pittsburgh to make it is 62%, and Baltimore is 55.
I feel like they can learn.
Even
I
still,
know
even at
I
a
know
wild
we're looking
card.
at. I know we're looking at. I know on paper the numbers it makes sense. I don't think the Ravens gonna get in there.
I feel like if you look at,
You think Indy will get in over them?
I can
I can
think
see
he's
Indy
playing
over
some
them. I
fantastic
can
football
definitely
right
see
now. I
Indy.
think Indy.
Indy does have an interesting game this week.
Yeah, they play Dallas this week.
In Indy.
Yeah, in Indy. I tried to get tickets to it, but it's very expensive.
I could see.
Lucas Oil is the most overpriced thing
Yeah,
in the league.
it's
I won't go
so
there.
expensive.
I could see I would like to see the Ravens do kind of like a Pittsburgh, or I'm sorry, a Saints type kind of thing where they kind of run like with Taysom Hill and Drew Brees. I like seeing it. Taysom Hill is literally like he's an OW. He's the offensive weapon of the entire season. He blocked the punt against Tampa. A punt.
I mean, but
He's
that's
on the
not-
field on
that's not
special
that
teams.
impressive.
It's not that impressive.
I'm gonna
But
tell-
again, he's played several offensive snaps. They run a wildcat out of it.
Scored a couple touchdowns.
But like the fact that, especially this late in the year, where they have all the film they want on you, and you can sit there and run whatever you want out of either Lamar Jackson or Joe Flacco, regardless of the quarterback you have, I think it's a great
They only have 4
decision.
games of film on him. Like, I don't
On
think it's
Lamar.
enough film.
But even then, but
You
like,
got so
can
many
just
years
open
of
it up.
Flacco, and Flacco's literally just
You know what you're getting.
yes. And he's not mobile, so
But what do
you
want
can
right
just
now in
bring the
playoff?
house on him, and he's going to
If you
throw a
ask
pick.
me who I'm more scared to play, it would be Lamar.
Yes, no one is scared of Joe Flacco.
I mean, yeah.
And I think Joe Flacco's still better right now. But I'm just saying, like game plan wise, I don't want a game plan for Lamar.
Yeah, I don't either.
I
Because it takes you out of your.
to know what to do in that scenario.
Yeah.
It takes you out of your regular defensive scheme.
And what's the difference? What's the problem with that? With running a 2-quarterback set?
Okay.
I mean, I get a rhythm. I get a rhythm. I get a rhythm wise. I get a rhythm. Excuse me.
They've tried it. They put them.
No. When they put Lamar in, they sat outside on the wide receiver, and he sat there as a distraction.
To quote
The same thing that Taysom Hill does sometimes when Drew Brees starts.
To quote Herm Edwards, a 2-quarterback system is a no quarterback system.
Like Alabama.
Like having 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
Well, they don't run it. What?
But when at a time they do, they have 2 great quarterbacks that can start and play and win a game.
Who is this?
Alabama. No.
I know we're talking about college.
No.
No, they have a 1 quarterback system and 1 got hurt.
They didn't really run a 2-quarterback system. They just, when they pulled Tua out, they were already up 30 in most games. Well, it wasn't a 2-quarterback system. Not like they alternated plays or anything.
Yeah.
I think
like you're talking. So
I think it could work. Maybe not. I think it could work.
If you had a better quarterback than Flacco to do it with, maybe. But Flacco is just not there anymore.
All right.
But I mean, like I've said in recent weeks, Lamar. I mean, yeah, he puts up the yardage, but he's not really he hasn't really had that moment yet to where it proves to me
he needs that moment.
He needs that he has that starting position on lock. Like
But
Dak.
here's the future, though.
Dak did it with Romo. Thanksgiving game, his rookie year, overtime pass to Jason Witten to win the game against the Eagles. That was his starting moment.
Well,
Lamar hasn't had that yet.
But in the same sense, though, Romo was done for the whole season anyway.
Joe Flacco
Was he not?
No, he was still back. He was back. They cleared him to be back, and then he gave up his.
But again, Joe Flacco's clear. He was cleared to be back last week, and they chose Lamar.
Well,
but they wanted to rest him. They wanted to rest him.
The Chiefs, though.
Yeah,
But
like I said, they chose to rest him.
do you truly think that they would have been as close against the Chiefs with Flacco?
Oh God, no!
I don't think so.
That's the only answer you need right there.
So no. So then you don't go back to Flacco. There's no way if you truly think that they had a better chance of winning with Lamar, then there's no reason to go back to Flacco.
I'll give that. All right, we are almost 33 minutes in. We'll go ahead and move on to the predictions.
For next week.
Yeah, we're going through a lot of NFL talk, a lot of controversy this week, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. We'll go ahead and move in. I'll go ahead and start us off here with the game you choose.
We'll start with possibly the game of the week on a Thursday night. The Chargers and the Chiefs for the AFC South or
Steelers
West.
and Patriots.
My bad. AFC West. I don't know. I
know. They're both playing better right now.
I have Chargers on this one.
You have Chargers?
Yeah.
What do you got,
No, sir.
I want to hear.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. Remember that stat I brought up to you a few weeks ago when I was on here when the Steelers played the Panthers, talking about home teams on Thursday,
especially on Thursday nights. Yeah, Thursday nights.
Kansas City is at home.
Especially
Give me Kansas City. Just like remember, look, if Dallas would have played at New Orleans a couple weeks ago, that game doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So give me Kansas City at Arrowhead.
Arrowhead is definitely a scary place to play. Phillip Rivers has been playing amazing football recently. Not MVP caliber, but he's been playing like he's supposed to.
Actually, I think he is in the MVP race. He's not going to win it.
No, he's not going to win it.
Top five. Yeah, he's mentioned definitely. He'll be there. But
I just want to say, like I told Austin, the Chargers are the most quiet 10-3 team I've ever heard of.
Rightfully so. Well, rightfully so, because how many times have we seen them have great seasons and they just blow up?
Yeah. But think about who they've lost to. They've lost to Denver. They've lost to who was it a couple weeks ago?
The Chiefs beat them early in the season.
Yeah. And then I think they lost to the Patriots.
They're Rams. The Rams in week 3.
Yeah, they've lost to 2 good teams and a mediocre team. I consider Denver.
Yeah, they're mediocre. They're not a bad team.
They're mediocre. I feel like they got it together, but with Melvin Gordon out and the second string, they're starting a rookie this week at running back. I'm going with the Chiefs. If they had Melvin Gordon, I would go with the Chargers, but I'm going with the Chiefs this week.
I told you so. I'm just gonna say that.
All right. Special week this week. We have Saturday games as well. I don't know if you want to go straight into that.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's go into that one.
Why did you pick the Chargers?
Oh shoot! God dang it! My bad.
It's biased.
I was like, what's going on here?
It's been a long week on a Tuesday. The Browns and the Broncos. Give me the Browns.
I'll take the Browns.
Browns.
I believe in them.
Give me Broncos. Like it's a
They
Saturday.
did just get blown out by the 49ers.
Yeah,
No
not blown
Chris
out.
Harris.
20-14. 20-14.
Well, they were getting blown
at the
out.
second half.
Well,
I want
No
the Browns
Chris-
to win out.
no Chris Harris, no Emmanuel Sanders.
I'll definitely be
Traded away
watching.
Demarius Thomas.
I'll be watching
Also-
this game purely for see how Baker Mayfield responds to a decent defense.
Also, remember when Geff said
I would
that they
love to
wouldn't
see
win
him
more
win.
than 2 games?
I would love to see the Browns. I'd love to see the Browns beat Denver,
At least
but
I
I'm
didn't say
going with
8-8.
Denver.
Jack said 8-8.
I mean,
That's wild.
they're
That is
5 and
ridiculous. That
7
was a
right
good
now.
5-7-1.
5-7-1.
Yeah, that is a great point. All right, whatever game you'd like to choose
Let's
next.
do
Let's go ahead
the
and do
Sunday
it.
night game, New England and Pittsburgh.
Go
It's
ahead.
actually been played at 4 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah.
Game of the week.
Well,
We need-
America's game of the week, whatever they call it.
We
Yeah.
need that game. We need that game.
You need to win 2 of the next 3,
Yeah.
and you think you have a better chance at Pittsburgh over.
I think
I'm
there's
sorry,
a better.
over-
I think
have
we
a-
have a better chance against New England
than you do.
at
And the
home
Saints.
than
For
we
sure.
do going down to New Orleans.
For sure. I
So,
agree with that.
I mean,
I go with us, but I'll be completely honest. This is on if on a 0 out of 10 on a confidence meter, this is a 1.
Yeah.
give me us in this game. Like if we would have beat the Raiders last week, I probably would pick against us this week. But give me us this week.
I have a hungry Steelers at home.
So,
Desperate Steelers at home.
is James Conner back?
They're talking like he's probably going to play. If he doesn't play, I'd probably go New England.
Yeah, if he doesn't play for sure, New England. I'm still kind of leaning New England. I don't know, just something about losing to the Raiders kind of does something to his self-esteem.
Well, I will say this: Mike Tomlin does have a losing record to the Raiders at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Or it can crush you, but it can also flip
It
that
could.
switch that you
It
really,
could.
really need
Yeah.
right now.
Could wake you up.
But I don't know.
You feel like, oh shit. We
Well,
already
and the
beat
other
them.
thing we're going to talk about is that
although-
New England's pass defense
Just
is not
lost.
very good.
You also have a Patriots team coming off of a loss in Miami.
Again,
I want to talk. I love that.
Yeah, again.
I called
It was an
I called
amazing
it.
play.
Well, no,
I love the lateral play.
The worst call on Bill Belichick's coaching
was
career
putting
is putting
Gronkowski
Gronkowski in at
At safety.
thinking Ryan Tannehill's going to throw an 80-yard bomb.
Yeah,
That's
for
ridiculous. You knew what they were going to do. That's
Well,
that's
he's
unexcusable.
had shoulder problems, so you know he's not going to throw a ball.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
unexcusable to me.
Yeah,
To me.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, you need to run up against. You need to
But-
run man up 3 deep or whatever it is, and not run it at the end zone.
Yeah.
You need to play up closer than that. That's ridiculous.
I think
You only know 3-man deep because of Madden, but
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
on.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. But I'm just saying, you need to play tighter coverage than regarding the goal line, just like
Right.
how the
Steelers and
Chiefs said.
Patriots.
I really, out of anybody in playoffs, out of anybody in the AFC, I would give Pittsburgh the best chance to beat New England, and I don't like seeing New England win, so I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. I like the offensive
They're
weapons.
going against me
Good
again.
Lord, I hope you're right.
They're going
I really
against
do.
me
I
again.
will definitely be watching that game for sure.
Let's see. Let's go to AFC and NFC. Let's just do Dallas and Indianapolis. If we win this game, we clinch a spot in the playoffs. If Indianapolis wins, they get themselves back in. Well, they're already in contention for a wild card spot, but they help their case. I don't know because I really don't because when we
Give
put
me Indy at home, and it's seriously only because it's at home.
I feel that.
Like a 3-point favorite just because they're at home.
but like
Yeah.
I was saying, yeah, I mean that's what I'm leaning towards because when you put up 500 yards, I at least expect 30.
25, 30 points.
Yeah, expect not even counting overtime.
Well,
Just-
I mean, remember Tampa put up 400 yards.
No,
Yeah.
but we put 500. We put 500. We put 503.
and only had 3 yards.
3
Yeah,
points,
and that's
3 points.
that's an offensive that's how you know your offensive coordinator is crap. Like,
Which was Derek Cutter at the time.
Yeah.
Derek Cutter was making
Yeah.
offensive play calls.
that's how you know that person needs to be fired.
I want Indiana.
You want Indianapolis? Give me Dallas on this one though.
Give me Dallas because the Dallas defense has been playing out of their mind recently, and the fact that I don't think Indianapolis defense can hold Amari Cooper to less than 2 touchdowns this game. I'm gonna call it right now. Amari Cooper 2 touchdowns.
All right, so we're tied, right?
Tied. Well, no, we
Yeah.
had did
2
you call?
Indy, 2
I
Colts,
said
Dallas.
I said Colts out.
We're going off favorites then. We're going
Or we
off.
can just
we're going.
get-
Well, we'll run off of what Vegas says. Well, but
I got you.
we'll go. Okay. Any other games you want to look at with the NFC versus AFC? We'll go into
It is Dallas by -1, right? That's what I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Dallas by
So
-1. We're
Dallas.
going to call Dallas on that one. A very, very close game
Yeah.
going to
Vegas is
Vegas.
wrong, I'm suing.
All right. Just because I'm a big
Vegas
Tampa
most
fan.
of the time is right, though. Just
Usually,
saying.
yeah.
No, they play the odds. They play the odds. Tampa Bay versus Baltimore. I've got Tampa, of course. I think our offense is going to.
Yeah.
While I will cry if Terrell
Against a very
Suggs.
good defense.
Yeah, against Terrell Suggs. But I was talking the other day one time we played the Saints. The Saints played a defense where there was like, we'll just hope that Jameis Winston messes up. I feel like Baltimore will do the
But
same
I mean,
thing.
that's all you have to do is
We
just
have
play.
to score in both halves or we lose.
You
We can't
keep-
score in the first or we can't score in the second. We have to score in both halves.
So the best defensive game plan for any team going against Tampa is just saying, "Hey, keep the ball in Jameis Winston's hand because he's going to mess it up."
But he's been scrambling a lot more and not making as dumb of a decision.
For
Not as
sure.
bad as Russell Wilson is, which but we'll see what
They
we
still
can do.
won.
Yeah.
They did. For sure, give me Baltimore on this game though.
I got Baltimore.
Baltimore. By the way,
Either-
Baltimore is an 8-point favorite in this game.
Either way, Flacco or Lamar, give me
I don't see
Baltimore.
us. I don't see us doing very well at home or at away. I'm sorry, away at Baltimore. I still have it. I'm gonna watch it. Mike Evans has been relatively lackluster this year. I'm sure Gep knows as he's on his fantasy team. He's been all right, but besides the first play of literally the game of like actual offense defense, Mike Evans was relatively unheard of. So I really want Tampa to win though. Any other games we got? Let's go to the NFC. Green Bay versus Chicago.
I think Chicago clinches their playoff spot.
Yeah, Bears.
Yeah, I
Even
mean,
with
if
Green
they
Bay
win.
beating so heavily
Oh,
over
yeah,
Atlanta.
for sure,
I mean,
for
I guess
sure.
Atlanta's been very
Give me
mediocre.
Chicago.
Atlanta is not good.
Chicago. I mean, yeah, it was a bad game in my opinion against the Rams, but I
Give
don't know.
me, yeah,
give me the Bears.
Chicago.
It was
They've
a
been
really
playing
good
well.
performance
Mitch
by their
Trubisky,
defense.
It was,
needs
yes.
to drop like 30 points. I'll give him 40. He needs to drop 30 to 40 points on top of the Packers right now for a confidence booster.
So
After this week's game, that was absolutely 4 interceptions is just ridiculous. Both quarterbacks.
But I mean, you're going up against a defense that has guys like Marcus Peters that keep to lead, Aaron Donald, and Dominic Suh,
the best defense.
Dante Fowler. Like the Rams defense has been giving up points, but I think it's partially because of that offense, how fast they play.
Yeah.
The defense stays on the field a lot. So
4 picks though. That's benching territory. That's benching territory.
You can't. But
You don't bench Mitch Trubisky.
not for Chase Daniel.
For
He
sure.
did all right there while Mitch Trubisky was out. He didn't do better than Mitch Trubisky, but he did all right while he was out. You should at least let him rest that shoulder a
Lost
little
to
bit.
the Giants.
The Giants have been good so far.
They have. They
They've
are
been
on a streak.
What is it?
They're on a
4 or 5 game win streak.
Yeah, 4
We'll
game
go
win
ahead.
streak
We'll
right
go ahead
now.
and bump into that game. We'll jump back over
AFC,
NFC. Giants and Titans. I have Giants. I really do. I think Saquon has been playing great. Odell's been playing actually what he's supposed to be. Eli Manning's been playing like a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I have the Giants on that game.
I'm just.
Giants.
I don't know. Give me Titans on this one. I just don't believe
Titans.
I don't believe in Eli Manning.
So we're
And the
split.
Giants are favored, so Giants.
Okay, Giants.
All right.
All right. I guess now would be the perfect time to go into our Rolling Thunder round with the new logo that we came up with.
Have we posted it yet?
I posted it on our Twitter. Go check it out at Final Buzzer Pod. Amazing logo. Making dreams come true. Don't want to get too sad.
Appreciate the branding.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Let's just go Texans, Jets, Texans for sure.
Yeah, that's an easy one too.
Texans.
Texans.
And I'd say Austin would probably go Texas.
Yeah,
too.
it doesn't matter what he thinks, anyways. Raiders and Cincinnati. Give me
Who
Raiders
won?
on. Give me Raiders on this one. I think they're coming off of a hot streak. Off
In
of
Cincinnati, give me the Bengals.
I have the Bengals. I think what happened last week was a fluke. I really do.
We won't talk about it anymore.
It's a fluke. We still got Joe Mixon, right? We still have Tyler Boyd. And Jeff Wilson was okay,
even
so
like
we still win this
I'm in the
game.
semifinals of my fantasy league that, the winner gets $2,000 in. I have Joe Mixon on this team. He better go off next week.
And he's due.
He's
due
had
for
a decent
the-
week last week.
Yes, but he needs the Bengals organization, the fan base, we need to see him just destroy somebody. We got to see it. And I think this is the perfect game
what we've
to
learned
feed him.
We learned from Dallas that when you destroy somebody as a running back, you get a flag for it. So
I don't care.
I thought that was
but come on, you had a bad call in that game that went your way. That
it was
them the game.
Yeah, it was going both ways. There's two crap, like especially the kickoff fumble recovery. That was dumb. That was garbage. I'll even admit that.
We've already all picked.
We will not tell you what the.
Where's it at?
It's in Cincinnati.
I'm giving Cincinnati purely for the home game. The Raiders have turned it around a little bit. They fired their GM last week. They've been doing relatively decent anyways, at least in the second half of the season. Surely John Gruden is not just abysmal as we think he is.
You're still staying Bengals.
I'm still staying Bengals. I'm still staying Bengals. I think
so that whole,
they're very.
That was leaning Raiders.
Yeah, it was all leaning Raiders, and then I'm like thinking that they're still bad, and hopefully Cincinnati can make at least a showing.
Lions, Buffalo. Give me Lions.
I got Buffalo.
Buffalo.
They never disappoint me every time I pick them.
It's in December right now. It's Buffalo's team. I mean, it's Buffalo's time of the year.
It's Bills Mafia territory too.
Absolutely. It's
Give me a table. I switch my vote.
If there's snow,
smash me through the table.
If there's snow on the ground, it's on Bills all day. All right, so we
crazy out there.
They
we've
are.
got what 4-0 Buffalo over Detroit.
I love it too. I love it.
And that's what. Did you hear about the Matt Patricia? 4 or 5 weeks ago, he was already training his team outside. They have an indoor stadium, the Lions do, but chose to practice outside for this Bills game.
Just for this game?
For whatever reason.
Okay.
People were very questionable, and that's what he was like, why are you practicing outside? He's like, well, for that Bills game coming up. He's like, you mean in 5 weeks? He's like, yeah.
The Bengals are the only team I think that doesn't have an indoor facility.
They are the only team.
We practice outside year round.
Well, I mean, Tampa, but it's 80 degrees year round, so.
Well, we don't count Florida
we probably have
teams.
we probably have an indoor. We have an indoor facility, but y'all don't have an indoor facility at all.
No, there's not one. No.
Y'all are
if you're
broke.
driving on the bridge, you can see the practice facility right there.
Y'all are broke, boys. Y'all should get some money in that.
It's called men.
It's called giving Marvin Lewis too much money. Is what it is.
Oh, shit. Okay, let's go to the next game. Redskins, Jaguars. Give me Jag.
Give me.
I mean, especially with the Redskins playing the way they are.
Jacksonville. Just give me Jacksonville because it's the defense at home.
I got them as well. Even though I've been super disappointed with them having this arguably at the beginning of the season, best defense in the league, and just to see what's happened, what's unfolded here recently, because
they just quit on their quarterback.
Is Ramsey still talking?
He's always been talking. And that's the thing. And what happens was when Jacksonville loses, he says, "Well, you can't blame that on me." I hate that. If you're gonna talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. And granted, he's done rather okay, but you can't say, regardless if it's not your fault. I don't care if the quarterback throws 8 picks. You're like, well, I could have done better. You can't be like, that's not my fault. You can't do that.
He's probably gonna get traded this year.
I can see it, and I feel like a
player with that ego, cancer in the locker room.
You know who's gonna take him too, right? The Bengals, yeah.
I would like it. I could see it.
Vontae's perfect on the same defense.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like Pac-Man and Vontae's again.
Best defense in the world. That's
and we were better then, so maybe Perfect needs another shit talker just to get
in their head. We'll see who's the better douchebag. All right,
Dolphins, Minnesota.
God, that's awful.
Give me the Dolphins.
Give me Minnesota at home. They've been awful with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is just.
Oh, and US
I don't like.
Stadium?
We talked about this earlier. I don't like Kirk Cousins. I'm not a big fan.
I really don't know.
I think they picked the wrong choice. Granted, with their options, I think they should have traded all 3 of their quarterbacks for one decent quarterback. They've just been not. Kirk Cousins has not been good.
He's been fine. I don't know why people think he hasn't been good. He's been average.
But that's not a play. Look at the talent they have. That's a playoff team.
And people are like, oh well, Case Keenum did so great. I said, well, look,
Case Keenum's a backup quarterback.
Well, look at Case Keenum. What has he done
in Denver?
In Arizona.
Denver.
Yeah.
But then what also it was the offense coordinator. It was the system. So the system made that offense what it was. Like, Kirk Cousins has no offensive line, too, though. You have to look at that, how many hits he's taken. So, yeah, give me Minnesota in this because I just feel like too much talent against Miami at home.
God.
Well, I'm just going to say that I picked Miami last week. And I was right, so go ahead. Pick against me again. Let's see what happens.
What makes you pick Miami? Just curious.
Because it's
Ryan
worked out.
Tannehill,
Every time I pick Miami,
Drake.
every time I pick Miami, they've won.
So I just want to say the argument that it's Miami is a very viable it's a reasonable
They had that hot
choice.
start to start the season.
But
they kind of fell off, but I think the talent's still there. I think they still.
They'll just win their first 3 in their last 3 games of the season. That makes sense, right?
That's all you need.
It makes sense. 6-10 works out.
I honestly see this going either way. But since it is, and I'm gonna go with Vegas. And
all right.
choose
I mean,
the
I'm
Vikings.
not trying to persuade you the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Jeff just knows is right.
No,
that's
but,
what it
but
is.
like I'm saying, I can see this going either way. I can agree with you that I think Miami could pull this off. Miami could wholly pull this off.
Second touchdown.
Yeah.
That happens 1 in 10 years. Let's not. That was a wild play for sure. I love seeing it, but that's just one of those
Especially
things.
against New England.
Yeah, that's one of those things. The football
That
guys
makes
just
so much
the football guys have to okay that 1 in 10 years, and it just happens. Like you get to kick 6. I know it was in college, but like with Auburn and things like that happen. Like you end up either on the right side of history or the wrong side of history. Miami ended up on the right side this time.
All right. Let's go. Cardinals, Falcons.
Atlanta over Arizona right now. With Josh Rosen at
I
quarterback.
got the Falcons.
Give me the Cardinals.
All right.
In
It's calling the
Atlanta?
upset.
It doesn't matter, but yeah, give me the Cardinals. in
Statistically,
Atlanta.
though, Arizona's been very, very bad at home. For whatever reason, they've
On
been
the road.
very.
You mean Atlanta?
That's what I said. Yeah, Atlanta's been very bad on the road.
Click the wrong team again.
God dang it.
All right, we'll move on to the next game. Seattle. Whoa,
Yeah,
what do you mean?
their home is 3-5 and their away is 1-5.
Well, they've been bad all around. Bad all around.
It's another team they might want to start looking at getting a new coach.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
quarterback, or.
No, I mean Matt Ryan's fine. Yeah.
He's fine, but I guess if
Like,
you're looking to fire somebody, I guess quarterback would, or I mean.
I think
My thing is this though: like you have to ask yourself, are you totally sure that the person you're going to bring in is going to be just as good, if not better, than Matt Ryan? And
Yeah.
You can't,
I'll
and most
give you
guys
that.
you're going to bring in, you can't really
I'll
say
give you
that.
Yeah.
But
So-
John Gruden didn't get that when he said we should trade Khalil Mack. I mean,
Well, John Gruden's an idiot, but
there you go.
So I just think that the reason this Falcons team isn't as good as the ones in years past is
Defense.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. This defense
That's what-
hasn't showed up.
People don't realize like offense may be maintainable from year to
the
year
run
with
defense
very
isn't
little
good.
Yeah.
with very little like advancements. But in defense, if you're not improving, you're falling behind.
Oh yeah. For
It
sure.
very much is. Like, because everyone else is getting better on offense. Or everyone else is learning what you do on
This
defense.
is the offensive era right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And, like, even then, if you don't improve on defense, you're falling behind. You're going to drop. And Atlanta didn't improve, and they honestly fell back. With all the injuries and things like that they've had, they have not done anything to make themselves better and expected a change.
Switch it.
Oh God. You were right.
Goober. All right.
I'm
Seattle versus
struggling.
49ers.
give me Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
we really need an explanation on that.
Yeah.
Eagles, Rams.
Rams.
That also kicks the Eagles out of playoff contention.
Good.
Cowboys
Good.
fans are happy. Yeah.
We are in fact very happy.
New Orleans versus Carolina. Very
Give me
good.
Carolina.
Pretty good game.
Give me Carolina.
At home. At Carolina.
They're bad right now. Give me New Orleans.
They are bad, but this is going to be a good game. I can feel it. I think Cameron's going to come out, and it's going to be
In pass to who? Christian McCaffrey for every pass of the game? I mean,
Yes.
and hand
DJ
off to him.
Moore, Devin Funchess
Yeah.
is not bad.
Devin Funchess is not bad, but
DJ Moore's solid.
DJ
I
Moore
don't
is
know.
okay. I will give it to Carolina because of God. I can't say that with confidence.
Trap game. It's a trap game.
What do you mean? It's a divisional
But
game.
what,
They
before
play
they
twice
play
a year. They play twice a year. I've got to go with New Orleans.
I'm just gonna go with what I've said all year. Victory and Breezes.
All right.
I do
Give
love
me
me some
Drew Brees.
Breezes. I feel an upset.
I would definitely love seeing an upset.
Give the game to Breezes Christ Superstar.
So is that a tie?
No, I have New Orleans. You have New Orleans.
No, he has Carolina.
You have
I had New Orleans.
Oh,
we have
okay.
3-1 New
Okay,
Orleans.
never
Yeah,
mind.
that's what I thought. I knew we had 3-1.
All right. So after this week, based on our predictions, Atlanta gets kicked out. No, Atlanta stays in.
How?
They have a less than
We're
1%
out.
chance.
What?
Cincinnati technically stays in. The Giants are still in. We said Cleveland won. Yeah, Tampa Bay is out after this week based on our predictions. Green Bay is out, and Detroit is out. Right? Yeah.
Okay, before we move on from the NFL, we got a couple issues, I guess, with one, like we got problems with the Zebras right now. The refs, I think, honestly. We have the play on Monday night where Bobby Wagner jumps the line of scrimmage. I think in my mind, it's a big play where he jumps the line of scrimmage, uses his teammates as leverage to jump over the line of scrimmage. That was outlawed several years ago. One, they said, well, you're not allowed a running start. And then they realized people were just going to use their guys as kind of like a step stool to get over the other line. And they said, well, you can't do that, player safety, things like that. They did it, and there was a flag thrown, and then the ref said no flag. Do we start including this thing where we say that New York or the people upstairs can call a flag? I personally think that there's got to be some human error in football. Like, I know it sucks and it's not perfect, but when you can find a holding play on any play of the year.
Oh, yeah.
If any game on any play, I mean, it's going to happen.
Especially any running play. You're going to
You're going to find a holding call. I feel like maybe you should be able to challenge false calls, but again, it's going to be based on guys on the field. But you got to be, if you're going to start challenging like that, you can't say holding call. You're going to have to be like holding number 71 on, I don't know, 92. But I don't like Pandora's box that we're opening there.
No, I don't think you can do that for the simple reason that, one, the games already take,
way too long.
3.5 hours.
Commercial break after commercial break after commercial break.
Yeah, like, it's just, why do we need to make the games longer?
I'll give you that.
And, and honestly, do you really want to sit here and say, hey, a team lost the game because of a penalty that got overturned?
I mean,
do you really want to go there?
A blocked punt? I mean, and even like you see, I saw...
blocked field goal?
Off of New...
That's not why they lost. They ended up losing
it's not why they lost.
They had a fumble return for a touchdown. So Seattle just outplayed them at the end of that game.
For sure.
It
wasn't even close.
I really know. It's 21-0 before they scored their garbage time.
I'll do a closer example. The Eagles and Cowboys. The second string, I can't remember his name for the life of me. The second string tight end for the Eagles.
Dallas Goedert.
Off of offensive pass interference. That was it's a different play. It was an offensive pass interference on the Eagles that I think was very unnecessary. That was called. And I guess you could challenge that, but again, I think for the first time this year, I guess the NFL has showed that they respect the ref's decision, but they show that there's still consequences. They fired their first ref this year, mid-season.
Yeah, because of a false start penalty
a
missed false start penalty.
And they scored
in a Chargers game.
Yeah,
by the way, when they played the Browns and they got a touchdown out of it.
Yeah.
Why the fucking refs didn't get fired after the one they gave up to Pittsburgh?
It's definitely a decision, but I think that the NFL is doing the right thing by setting a precedence that the refs aren't necessarily safe and they need to call the game as best they can. I'm not saying that refs are perfect. They can't see all of it, even if they have 5 guys on the field.
The NBA already does this. The NBA already has people, in New York who are constantly watching the game, and they get to make the call. Have you watched how long that takes to happen?
But again,
how much it slows the game down. It takes away when a team gets hot, and that happens. Well, that just kills all the momentum, and it's no fun to sit there. Well, they're still talking about it. Well, let's just replay it over and over and over.
Well, we've already figured out what it is.
The NBA has already shown you that how long they take that. Baseball, same way. They do it in baseball too. So expanding review or replay, I think is just a bad idea.
Yeah.
At least in that sense.
Would you allow the refs to review a penalty?
No.
No,
No,
just
because-
don't say from. You
no.
have to decide on real time. What
No,
happens.
yeah, right. Like,
Okay.
I don't think that there's any good reason to review a penalty because unless it's like like targeting, fine, personal
Like Zeke
foul,
got,
like stuff like that. Yes, but like a holding penalties, no.
Yeah.
I
I mean, would you limit it to like 15-yard plus penalties? So any kind of pass interference call that goes on down the field if it doesn't follow
No.
the textbook definition?
no, because I actually think pass interference is so dependent on each each person could have a different definition.
Yeah.
Of what
Oh,
pass
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's based on the ref.
So no, I don't think I would do that. No, if it's called, it's called.
Okay.
So like I just feel like a lot of people would disagree with me, but part of the beauty of football is the human error aspect of it,
for sure.
and that's what used to make baseball so much fun. And now everything can be reviewed and challenged
Within a box.
Right, it's just
That
it's
a ref
just
can't
taken-
see or that an ump
Right.
can't see. I mean,
So right now, really, the only sport that has goes without much review is soccer, and they're going away from that now too.
yeah.
It's like everything has to be reviewed now, and maybe I'm sounding old, and none of us on this podcast are very old. Like, just it's nonsense to me.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. There's a difference between wanting a perfection in the game and you're wanting a clean game and you want everything penalized. But there's also a sense of you got to play the game. I mean, there's going to be penalties that happen and there's going to be things that are missed. And yeah, you got lucky that time. But you're going to realize that you're not going to get lucky on that holding call every time.
The only way I see any compromise is allowing coaches to have one challenge per game on
There.
a flag.
They have
That's
to
on a
the
flag,
only
on a
way-
flag.
On a flag.
Yeah,
You get
on
an
a flag.
extra one.
But I don't even know. If that's,
I don't
is that
even
right?
like that.
But the thing is,
I don't
like
like
neither challenge would make it past the first quarter.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost like, do you want to see that? Because I don't. Like, it just adds another dimension to the game.
Yeah, I don't like
It's
that.
unnecessary.
I tell you what, I did enjoy the other week when Bill Belichick was searching for his challenge flag.
And it was in a sock.
It was in his sock, and like there was a compliment. Like someone was like, "Oh yeah, Bill Belichick several weeks ago lost his flag in his jacket pockets. He was looking for all of them, and he had to finally throw it. So he stores it in his sock now for whatever reason. I find it hilarious for Bill Belichick to look. Oh, that's the yellow flag. Oh, need the red flag. Got to throw that one. But I do get what you're saying. I feel like there should. I think honestly, if you add an extra ref, like they have five men on the field at that point. I feel like that if you add an extra ref to try and spot something else, that might help. I don't know if that might honestly that might increase like the penalties called. But if you have two head refs
But
or
What
one,
if you designate the extra ref? His only job is to watch for holding, and then every other ref is just to turn everything else.
but that guy looks at the holding like that's a holding. Well, I mean, I guess they've expanded the holding definition to beyond the shoulders. They don't care about it in here. They don't care about. I'm sorry, I'm using hand gestures, and you guys can't see that. They've expanded the holding where it's not inside the chest plate or inside the chest, unless they get
It's
outside.
on the outside.
It's on the
shoulder
outside,
pads. Yeah.
and
Or
if
around
you're,
the neck.
Yeah, around the neck. That's where
Yeah.
they've
Or
gotten
if you're-
people.
Obviously holding
Yeah,
him.
Yeah. They can see the jersey pull, so they're not like calling everything. And I guess I can see that, but I feel like you definitely. I would like to see an extra referee, especially downfield, because when those refs are kind of play like DBs. Honestly, they're the furthest guy back, or they're on the goal line, checking to see what's good, what's not, things like
but
that.
then again-
So if you could put an extra guy either on the slot receivers or the edge receivers, and a guy in the middle of the field or somewhere, I think it would be beneficial.
I also don't want to see a flag thrown on basically every other play.
I agree with that.
No, like I just feel like adding another ref would hurt the flow of the game.
Yeah. Like,
To quote Mike Tomlin.
We definitely need a somewhere a happy medium. I do agree that especially when you get to games, it's like there's a flag every other play and things like that, and it slows the progress of the game. And you have, I hate seeing. Tampa Bay's the worst about it. We get a first down, then we run, and then it goes back to first and 20
trust me,
because of holding.
I know the pain.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we have congratulations with 2 minutes have elapsed and we haven't moved anywhere.
Yeah.
And then we're at 2nd and 30 for whatever reason. So
Yeah, I mean, Dallas had 11 penalties on them, and more than half of them are holding. Like, in this past game, like, I completely understand that feeling that you have.
But definitely as fans, we were definitely frustrated for sure. Do we want to?
Transition to the
Yeah,
NBA.
transition. Mom said we spent so much time in the NFL this week. I
NBA
hope you guys are
hour.
enjoying them too. Yeah.
Let's open it up with something that I want to talk about. More. I want to hear Andrew talk about it. Is the Lakers? LeBron coming off his last game against Dwayne Wade.
The Heat. Yeah.
Yep. So.
Well, as also a Kentucky basketball fan, good riddance to Dwayne Wade after this year. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, it's going to be sad to see him leave.
I respect him. I'm gonna say I respect him as a player.
Yeah, it's going to be sad to see him out of the league because, all four of us grew up with
one of the better guys we've seen in our lifetime. In our lifetime, he's one of the better players.
Being a top 5, top 10 kind of player growing like what? Just, and he's one of those guys where he was a good character guy, really stayed out of trouble outside, other than, the whole cheating on his wife at the time thing.
Mm-hmm.
But just like always fun to watch. The only thing I ever heard him was injuries.
Yeah.
And, LeBron, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 12 assists. I'm sure y'all probably heard this too. People were saying, he's starting to look washed up or starting
The
to
man
look
dropped
slower.
30.
Like at 28, 9, and 12. What do you want from him? What he's trying to do is he's trying to help make these guys around him better.
Exactly.
And where he doesn't want to come. He didn't come to LA to put up 50 points every week like
He didn't want to do the whole Cleveland thing again.
Yeah.
That's not why
He's I'm not saying he's not a superstar, but he's got to be able to have a supporting cast. He's
Which
worked at that
is-
point where he's going to need a supporting cast.
Like other media kept saying, the Lakers won the game because of LeBron 28, 9, and 12. Everyone decided to forget. Kyle Kuzma had 33 points and 7 rebounds. On 14 of 22 shooting, which is 64%. That almost, and 3 of 7 from 3, which is not great, but 43% is decent. And LeBron shooting 4 of 7 from 3. So, what's helping the Lakers is now they're starting to take better shots and they're starting to shoot better from 3. So, in this game, 14 of 32 from 3, 44%. I know that's not great, but it's better than their season average.
So if this year, and in my opinion, this is what this year is a year where they obviously want to compete in the playoffs, but they know that really their eyes are on next year when they could potentially either, bring in a Kawhi, Kevin Durant, any player they want, the kind of money they have. What LeBron's doing is fantastic. He's building these younger players' confidence, he's getting them involved, making them better. So that next year they add some better talent.
When they move down to
That's a complete
mid-string guys, when they move down to mid-string guys, and like you said, when they're a complete team, they're going to be more competitive. Not only in the first quarter, but also in the third and fourth quarter when you have to rely on those bench player guys to actually come out and make a showing. It's absolutely going to make a huge difference for LA, and I think will lead them to a very successful future.
Now, I don't think they'll get Kevin Durant. And
I don't think so.
The Kawhi thing is tricking me, but I do think that they have the money, and it's LA. Somebody's going to go there.
I still think if Cousins comes back and looks good, I think Cousins might be the guy they sign.
See, here's the thing, though. They posted videos of Cousins scrimmaging a little bit.
On their G League team, right?
Yes, and he looks awkward. He runs like LeVar Ball. You can search Twitter for this, and it's a side-by-side comparison of them running. And it looks like he's not really... Now, he's running, but it doesn't look... The foot that he hurt, or the Achilles, that hurt, that foot doesn't really bend at all. It's kind of it hits the ground very flat.
He's still playing soft right now, though. You got to think about that. He's not even playing.
I'm aware. But he is the largest player to rupture their Achilles. That's so
point.
hard to come back from. And unless, to me... I thought he needed to lose weight in order to come back successfully, and he hasn't. I don't think he looks just as big as he was because that's
He's not really that big of a guy either, though.
Come on.
When I say big, he's not fat.
He's a muscle. He's a giant muscle, is what he is. He's one of the bigger guys in the NBA.
I don't want he'll come back, and I still think he'll be a top 5 center regardless. Because, one, center's dying off nowadays anyway, which is depressing.
Yes.
For a fellow big man.
I don't think very long. I don't think it stays.
Why do you say that?
I think Bol Bol's your only chance.
No, because he actually, No, because
He
Bol
can shoot
Bol
threes,
kills.
yeah.
He kills the idea of a traditional center
Because
he doesn't play down low.
As soon
Which is
as
frustrating.
a center comes back and dominates everybody, because nobody has an answer, because there's nobody else to guard.
Because no one else can guard him. Yeah, exactly.
And this is just such a really irrelevant thing for me to say, but the Hornets last year had Dwight Howard who played the Warriors, and we won because he had like almost 40 points because they had no answer.
Well, now they have an answer. His name is Dwight Howard.
But you see the same thing.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you said
I was
Dwight.
talking about yep.
You see
That's
the
what
same
we're talking
thing
about.
though.
And
I can see
DeAndre
the
Ayton, I think it's going to help that cause.
The NBA is years ahead of the NFL, as in the NFL will have the same issue where you're seeing speed guys being successful. And eventually someone's going to say, why don't we just get a fullback and run on these 210-pound linebackers who can't tackle our 250 muscle man back here like Derrick Henry. Like, you saw how monster of a game he is. Well, a big running back, a power back. So eventually it's going to move to that where centers are going to be they're going to be worth their weight in gold, literally, because they're so big. I mean, if you can just get in there and you can just bully people into the point of you just impose your will, and that's an important thing beyond just the points you score, but like emotional and like mental aspect. I can't do anything about it. He can have his way with me, and there's nothing I can do.
Also, I don't think rim protectors will ever not be important.
Well, sure. Rim protectors different.
Those second chance points and things like that are a huge.
I mean, JaVale McGee has become a key part of JaVale McGee and Tyson Chandler.
Arguably the second best player of the team.
No.
That was a bold move. That was bold. That was bold for sure.
Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, and Brandon Ingram all say hi.
I said it with a smile on my face. Okay, I didn't mean it.
But I'm saying like Tyson. But like what I mean is like to help your point, Tyson Chandler and JaVale McGee have been key components of that team because of Tyson Chandler's like first game back or first game on the Lakers. He won the game for him on a block
Against the Hawks.
Yes. Even though they
Could have been a goal team.
Yeah, he could have been a goal team.
Against the Hawks, we almost lose. Okay, I got you.
I know what you're talking about. But I think DeAndre Ayton, he's not my rookie of the year. I think Luka's coming out.
Luka, oh my God.
Luka is my
Actually,
been
DeAndre
amazing.
Ayton probably isn't even number 2 right now.
No.
Who'd you have number 2?
I would.
SGA. Shea
yeah.
Gilgeous-Alexander.
I would.
You say Trey Young, you're
I was
thrown out of the window.
I'm putting him with Trey Young. I love you to death. I like the way Trey Young's playing.
What's his name? Memphis.
Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson.
Yeah. He's a dark horse.
I think Jaren Jackson has incredibly high potential, just being the fact that he's beginning to develop an offensive game. His defensive game is very ahead for such a young player. But Luka's the best.
Luka's the best
draft.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought he should have went first. Well, although Phoenix doesn't need another guard, I think he should have went first. I even said that when the draft was around. I was like, look, this kid has won, multiple awards overseas, which
But again, you have to compare.
The reason you say SGA is because of the win that the Clippers are winning. Because his numbers aren't like that, super duper impressive.
He's playing a role right now that's important to the Clippers that are helping them be
successful. So I guess arguably DeAndre Ayton's numbers are pretty empty because they're not winning. So I can understand it that way, but numbers wise, I still have DeAndre Ayton over Shea. I love Shea. I was rooting when the Hornets drafted him. I was like, hell yeah!
That's what I was about to say.
Absolutely not. Miles Bridges has
been great. Miles Bridges has been great,
and I'm fine because I was the first one to be like, "What the hell was that?"
You have to trade the team away every week.
Every
other week.
Yeah. What's your verdict? What's your verdict on Kimba right now?
My verdict on Kimba has been the same as all
Still
year.
trading.
My verdict has been the same. That I want to say is pretty consistent with the fact that we will make the playoffs. We'll win about 41 games, be 41-41. But is that what you want as an organization? Do you want to be 41-41?
I mean, in the East,
as the Hornets, I mean, it's about what you did when you used to be the Hornets back in the day.
But it could be better. It could be better because if I don't like this, okay, we'll make playoffs, we'll make money, and it's fine. I want to be actively competing, and I can't look at this roster and really say that we'll go to the second round.
Right.
So I don't understand. Unless keep him if you're planning on bringing somebody else in.
But you need to either build him a supporting cast, or you need to get rid of him.
This year, either you're going to bring somebody in, or you're going to trade him.
Yeah,
it's not.
Because we can't ignore the fact that he's aging.
Next 12th overall pick, because it's been 11. It's been like 14, 11, 11, and it was, it might be 12 next year. You can't. These middle of the pack lottery, like that's not who's going to take your team to the next level.
I do just want to tell you that,
especially with this draft this year.
I sent you a YouTube video of like Michael Jordan's success so far in Charlotte.
And
if
it's
you
been
watch,
pretty awful, right? They made the playoffs
twice.
Al Jefferson was all NBA one year.
Yeah,
cool. As a Bobcats, I think.
Yeah, like the only good draft pick he's gotten is Kemba. Yeah, that's the only good one that he's gotten.
Let's hold off on Miles Bridges.
Yeah. Although, like, that's not counting, the Miles Bridges.
They still got time. They still got time.
And
Yeah.
like,
I think Monk will still be there, too.
Yeah, that's not counting those two.
I think Monk's a good pick. I don't think Monk's going to be a superstar anymore. I think Monk has a role.
I never thought he would be.
I think that Gek was the only person who thought that.
That's not true.
I know 3 other people. Huh?
They run the Hornets podcast.
Gep gave
potential was so high that I was okay with looking past his defensive capabilities. Now, as I'm seeing how streaky he was, I knew he was, he was always going to be a streaky player. I thought he would grow out of it. I'm not sure he will. So he's going to drop 30 points, and then he's going to get like 10, but he's going to allow 20 points on defense. So he's not a reliable second option. Bridges, I think, could be, but he's not right now. And Kemba's 28, so you got to get somebody now.
Yeah, for sure.
Why do we act like that's old?
I mean,
Wayne Wade is getting ready to retire at, 36?
Well, I mean, that is kind of...
Because
But that's 8 years. But, like, Kemba's got 8 years to get to 36.
But the reason I think it's more of a big deal with Kemba because he's a 6'1", 5'11" point guard who relies on his shiftiness and his speed, and he's had the past 3 years consecutively knee surgeries, minor knee surgeries. But as you get older and the more he relies on his speed, if that goes down a little bit, I'm not sure.
Steve Nash won MVP is like his 12th season, like 11th or 12th season in the league.
But you don't see guys like Vince Carter though still being semi-successful.
Well, I mean, hold on.
He's been in the league longer than we've been alive. I mean,
Vince Carter is 41.
He's 41. Yes,
28 and 41 are not the same thing, and also Vince Carter is 6'6". And a machine.
You start moving out. You start moving out of main key player roles, and you start playing you start playing for a mediocre team, or you start playing 6-man, or you start leading the second team. I mean, you eventually have to. There's a fall off range, and some guys it's earlier than others. LeBron, we haven't found that yet.
But I mean, if you think Kemba is already towards that range.
Not yet, but you have a year or two before.
What?
You have to. And that's the thing. You never know.
You never know. 30, you think he'll drop off that far?
You never know. 30 is a big age, man.
I think 30 might be his peak.
Here's what scares me. He's eligible if he makes All-NBA this year, which if he had kept on his previous little stretch, and he's
where you called him an MVP.
We owe him 200 and I think around 20 for 5 years. That makes him 33. We don't get cap space until Batum's gone when he's 31 or 2. And I don't know what he's going to be like then. And he could still be just as good. Yeah. But if we're just now getting money, and we can just now bring somebody around him, then our window is just...
You gotta consider...
Okay, I'm making small
everyone ages and digresses at different times. Like, granted, yes, Vince Carter can play until he's probably 50 if he wants to because he's a monster. But you've got to consider that the average guy, and even that these guys are superstars, you've got to consider that they are going to start getting old. They're going to start digressing, and there's going to be younger guys who are going to be more athletic, be hungrier, and honestly just outwork these older men.
Well, but here's the thing, though. Like, the Memphis Grizzlies were winning games with old Tony Allen. We're winning playoff series with old Tony Allen, old Zach Randolph, old Marc Gasol. I mean, old Tayshaun Prince. I mean, old Vince Carter was on one of those teams.
Yeah.
So, like, this idea that you can't win a game, you can't win with experienced players, like, it's a young man's game, I think it's BS. Like, and I'm not saying, like, your point is completely wrong. It's just that, like, if you think that that you have to have young guys to win, look at Phoenix. Phoenix sucks because they don't have any valuable experience. Look if you want to look at a team that's really good with a lot of experience, look at Boston.
Well, the Grizzlies right now, arguably too. Mike
Yeah,
Conley,
the Spurs forever.
Yeah.
For literally as long as I remember.
Toronto has plenty of older guys on that team. Kyle Lowry's not young.
I know. Well, I thought this has been my point, though, is if you think, with my knowledge of how Michael Jordan works and him not going to ever pay the luxury tax, could you see the current roster we have right now, the same exact roster plus a 33-year-old Kemba, is it better or worse?
Worse.
Okay, I mean, that's just what I'm saying. We're not going to spend any more money.
Well, here's the thing.
to get anybody
Here's why I say it'll be worse. Because, one, Nick Batum's probably already peaked.
Oh, yeah, he's done. He's done crest the hill. He's on his way now.
Jeremy Lamb doesn't have a peak.
He's not.
Doesn't have a
his
peak.
7th year, and he just now got it.
You want to talk about, he came in with Kemba.
He did.
No, you're after.
No,
Same
on
year?
that team.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That's wild.
Because they won it in 2011.
That's
I thought
wild.
he stayed in it another year.
No.
I don't think so, no.
Nope. Kimba went 2011.
That's wild.
Well, I know Kemba did, but I thought Lamb stayed another year.
No, Lamb went. No.
Because I know he drafted OKC.
No, Lamb wasn't part of the
Lamb.
national championship team.
Yes, he was.
Was he?
Yeah, Lamb was on the 2011 team.
Or
12.
Yeah, and Shabazz Napier was a freshman, and so was
That's
Brian
right.
Boatwright.
yeah, Yeah.
But
my bad.
even if you are right, okay, but still, he's only 1 year younger. 1 or 2 years younger than Kemba.
I feel like he's 25. Am I wrong?
I mean, if he's that young,
I guess he.
but
But
but guys, you got to think though, 26 is getting old, man.
Okay,
Remember,
I said
we just talked about that though. Like you said, we.
I don't think you caught the sarcasm in my
Okay,
voice.
but like even
It's like it's
there's a difference between experience and getting old. Yes, like it's important that you lead.
He was
Like,
drafted,
especially
Lamb was drafted in 2012, a year after
Okay.
Walker. He was the 12th pick.
Okay, but
bad
like
pick, but keep going.
having
He's 26.
you could have experience at 22 years old if you've been to the playoffs the 3 years in a row. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, but like
that's why Phoenix has nearly zero playoff experience. No one's on that team's been
right, except for Trevor Ariza.
Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say he's the only one,
He
and they're
will
talking
not
about.
be on that team.
Yeah,
And
they're
he
talking
won't
about
be a
trading
leader.
him away.
Yeah,
too.
he's not a
He
leader.
won the Lakers.
He's
and
not a
then he
leader.
said that there was one like 2 weeks ago or whatever that said the Sixers.
I will welcome him back with open arms on that. Like, because right now, you see what a player like him means to a team.
Yeah.
Look at Houston. 12-14, and it's simply because, one, they don't have a key defender because no Patrick Beverly, no Trevor Ariza.
Mhm.
Eric Gordon has really not played that great this year. Like, there you go. I mean, you want to see why? Like, I don't see. Like, I don't know how Houston turns this around without making some moves.
I can
They
see
have
them
to
still
make
making the
moves.
playoffs, but they're going to lose in the first
Oh yeah,
round.
for sure. I think.
The chemistry's not there. There's no defense
Well,
to
yeah.
play.
I mean,
And Chris Paul might not even make it the full season.
I agree with you. on that.
look, like Sacramento's not going to hold this form the whole time.
God, no.
would
I
like to see that.
don't see the Clippers holding it either.
I do because I do like Beverly, and I like Beverly and
I like Harold's energy.
yeah, Beverly and SGA at 1 and 2 at times when they're both in the game. Nobody can really score on those two.
No, that's too great. I don't want to say he's great yet, but Patrick Beverly is great defensively.
Yeah.
And Shea
Arguably the best
is
defensive point
showing,
guard.
and Shea's showing the potential to be one of those terrific lockdown
Yes, he
defenders.
is.
So
Well, he was in college,
yeah,
so like
that's why I want him.
him next to Kimba would have been interesting to see.
And you could have traded Kemba away without really a hiccup because you'd be like, okay, I got our future point guard.
you can put
And
it
a
right there.
6'6" point guard pairs up with Malik so nicely. But it's whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
You're not mad. I'm mad.
Vent it out.
Yeah.
Vent it out.
You're not
It
mad.
made, it made so much sense that I thought it was a logical pick. And then they did it. And I was like, oh, I was right. And they're like, no, I'm just kidding. It's like,
Does Milwaukee keep this season up? Keep this
Giannis is
season
going
up?
to win MVP. And yeah,
Giannis should win MVP.
Giannis should
As
win
of right now.
MVP.
I thought it was
But-
first Giannis. The Pelicans just aren't doing it. So I think it's Giannis.
I agree.
Davis is trying. Davis. Look,
He
this
keeps
proves
saying
my
healthy.
point
He
that I
keeps
think
saying
I made the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Drew Holiday needs to go. He is the problem.
I'll give
Like-
you that. Yeah.
Like, when he's
If
in,
only Noah was here right now to refute any of this.
like if he disagrees with me, like, look, Drew Holiday out of the lineup last year, when you had Rondo in, they were so much better. Like, Drew Holiday trying to go for all those points has cost them because it takes the ball out of Davis's hands. Davis makes his team better. Holiday doesn't. So that's why their biggest need is going to be a point guard. And then after that, they need everything else to.
You know what I can finally start to see, like, my argument, because I don't think that the Pelicans would trade Davis, but the more I'm watching, and I'm not trying to, like, buy into any of what people say because I think they're wrong, but he's proven that he's not the most reliably healthy player. And for a team that has to be almost perfect and has to have him every night to make playoffs, it doesn't work. It doesn't work if he can't play every night. If he can't play 82 games, then their playoff picture is always going to be like
up in the air.
I don't know. Yeah.
But where would you trade him?
It would have to be Boston, and it has to. For me, it has to be Terry. It has to be maybe Gordon Hayward. And
if I'm the Celtics, I trade away Gordon.
And then I need your picks. I need some of your picks.
They have a abundance of picks from the Nets.
No, those picks are done.
Oh, are they?
After this year.
But they still have some.
But it's like a second round.
They still have a lottery pick this year that even if they're great, it's
I would like that would be a power team.
You think they're going to be in a lottery? Because that's the thing. New Orleans might be able to slide in as an 8.
Again, it depends on if he's healthy. I mean, it just depends. I mean, he makes or breaks that team.
Because I think the Trailblazers are going to fall off.
I can see it. Because I think that team needs to be blown up.
I'm not big on your is it Yusuf Nurkic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember if it was him or Jokic.
Well, I just think McCollum and Dame should be separated. I just don't think that they just need to do something different.
Well, there's always that rumor.
Same for John Wall and Bradley Beal. Somebody's got to go.
Both have to go. In my mind,
going to be gone.
That's how I feel.
They're going to blow that up.
Trade them together. I don't care. I mean, send them both together.
What if you just swap the two? Send Wall and Beal out to Portland. Lillard and McCollum out to Washington. Which, by the way,
that Wizards team though goes to playoffs instantly.
Well, yeah, because the East still is not very good.
No.
Like that doesn't change anything
the
about
top
the East.
part, which maybe I sound crazy. If Cousins doesn't make it back effectively, either the Raptors, the Bucks, the Celtics, maybe the Sixers. I'm just not big on them right now because I don't. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I don't think Butler works with Embiid or Simmons.
I was going to get to that soon. Go ahead.
But if they can figure it out, they can figure it out. But the other teams I named, I think all have a legit chance of giving the Warriors a series. Last year, in my opinion, I felt like the Celtics could have beat the Warriors.
Yeah, I agree.
Been 100% healthy?
Yeah. Actually, no, because I think they're better without Kyrie, too. I said it a couple weeks ago, and I will say it now. Trade Kyrie and you get better.
You could definitely get more out of Kyrie than he offers.
Kyrie for Davis.
I don't see that. I don't see that straight up. I don't see that straight up.
Well, not straight up, but you're throwing a few,
picks or
just throw Hayward in there too.
Yeah.
The salary?
I don't know.
I think the salary works because I don't think Hayward's getting paid all that much.
Solomon Hill gets quite a bit. Salary cap filler right there. Trade's done.
Brad Stevens can get something out of Solomon Hill.
Oh, of course. Back to your 76ers. If I'm Embiid, he should feel embarrassed because they're string goes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
And he's being a baby. Did you see what he said?
A couple games ago, after we beat the Pistons for the first time out of 2 this week, he said, he was frustrated with his role as basically a stretch 5 since Butler's been here because Butler attacks the rim, Simmons attacks the rim, and Joel says he wants to be down there and rebounding and dunking because that's what he does. But since Butler's gotten there, Brett Brown's just been like, yeah, you're just gonna go sit down on a 3-point line, and if we get the rebound.
Well, that's why Brett Brown's a joke. Anyway.
Yeah. I
So
mean, but
That's why coaches in the NBA
you
are
watch your
typically
mouth because coaches are valuable.
they are valuable, but
But let me ask you this. Okay, so you bring up the coaches thing.
Popovich.
Well,
Popovich is an exception to every rule that.
So is Brad Stevens.
There's a couple that are exceptions, but you can't tell me. You can't tell me.
You can't say that. You can't say there's a couple that are
Eric Spoelstra.
yeah.
Look what he does. Look, I know he's a good coach because you look what he's doing with that awful talent in Miami. They have none.
Yeah.
Justice
Bam?
Winslow is a bust.
Bam.
Okay, I forgot
Okay.
Bam.
Bam just got there, and he's
That's
still
true.
a bench player.
He's
Yeah,
still
and
amazing.
Hassan Whiteside
He needs to be
is so one-sided of a player. It's not even funny.
It's like every other game he comes to play.
Dude, I would trade Hassan Whiteside if I was my.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I
get
was
picks.
$20-something million. Who's going to take Hassan Whiteside?
a team that needs a center. The Hornets.
Fucking Hornets. He's a North Carolina native too. I've done talked about it, not on the podcast, but I've done talked about it. But because I can, we're not talking. We're talking.
But
You can send
That
it-
would make get
or like
very
Hassan
angry.
Whiteside, or like Hassan Whiteside to Dallas.
yeah.
No, they got Darren
Yeah,
Gordon.
yeah,
I forgot
yeah,
Darren
yeah,
Gordon.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot Darren Gordon. The Clippers.
Yeah.
That would be
Next
a
to
great-
Harrell?
Who's their starting center though? Because I don't. Who is it?
Exactly.
Boban?
Exactly.
I know Tobias is the 4. Who's the 5?
Boban.
Boban start.
I think.
We'll cut this part. Hopefully.
No, stay there.
Anyways,
It
just
happens.
while we're talking here, just to bring a little filler.
It should.
I think the Hornets could trade Cody Zeller and a few second-round picks, and they could get Hassan. And I think that gives us a
For Cody Zeller?
And a few picks. He said a few picks.
But what are you talking about? For a couple
Cody Zeller
second or third?
seconds.
Okay.
Cody
Hey,
Zeller-
Okay.
Boban is their starting.
Cody Zeller is a fantastic
Yeah, or-
role player.
Look, here's their centers. Not to cut you off, I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm just
Their centers are Boban, Martin Gortat,
He
back he is not even good, and Angel Delgado, who they just got from Seton Hall last year.
Who the hell is that?
He got drafted out of Seton Hall.
Second round?
I think he's on a 2-way contract.
2-way? It's a 2-way? Okay.
So back to the Embiid story. Yeah, I mean, I'll agree.
So
with
I
that.
actually kind of agree with Embiid because, like, people are like, oh, well, no, he's a good shooter and all this. Like, Embiid is a better, like, straight-up center, if not a stretch 5. He needs to be down under the rim more. Like, because how many guys in the league can stop him under the rim? That's my biggest problem with how he's being used. Is like, if you take him outside, he's a lot easier to guard.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah,
a lot harder to guard down low.
but then again,
Look what he did to the Celtics last year.
we're having this much success against
Yeah.
teams.
So there's a compromise that needs to be had, and Joel should say this publicly.
Yeah, I
He
think
shouldn't
that
be a
he should
stretch
take it to
five.
a front office and just be like, look, like
He
we need
should
to.
be a stretch 5, but he should not be running Jimmy Butler out of town.
Oh no, for sure not. No, Jimmy Butler
Well,
is
Jimmy
good
Butler,
for this team.
I'm going to tell you, he's not going to.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't think that he will.
I tell you, an interesting fit for him would be actually Milwaukee
At the 2?
at the 2.
Okay.
Middleton can play the 3.
Well, I mean, Jimmy Butler can play the 3. I guess you get. I'm assuming now you have Giannis at 4.
Obviously,
Okay. All right. I thought you had him at 3.
stretch 4.
Stretch. Well, stretch.
Yeah,
Like,
more like
he
a
flies because he can't shoot.
more like a guard, like a guard / forward kind of player because he handles the ball, he drives.
Do we think that
He is a taller, more awkward looking Ben Simmons
Do we think that Giannis
without
will
the
pass?
passing.
Yeah.
Once LeBron retires, is Giannis passing KD for the best player in the league?
No,
No.
Really?
No,
No,
that's an
No, because
decision. Yes.
especially
Not
since
yet.
especially
Yeah, I'll give you that.
since
Not yet.
KD's
Giannis has to have a couple really good years.
Develop a shot, and yes.
Well, I didn't say immediately. I said surpass him at some point because
Well, I think after Durant retired, yes.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So we're completely bypassing James Harden. I do not think he's up there, but I am just asking.
yes, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I do-
I agree. I'm just saying,
I like James Harden, but I don't really like.
does anyone think that James Harden is literally just a better version of Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah,
I mean, I'd agree with
Like
that.
he's a scorer and that's it.
Yeah, he's just a better version of him. Yeah.
And he's a better passer.
You can hide him defensively a little better than you can hide Carmelo.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
helps.
Yeah.
Well, because he plays shooting guard, not small forward.
Yeah.
What are most teams' best player? A small forward. So yeah. Or times Melo had to play the 4 and try to defend like Garnett, Duncan, Amari Stoudemire, like watch him get abused. So so Dirk Nowitzki, I don't even think Harden is the best. Well, he probably is the best shooting guard right now because there really isn't much.
Yeah,
there really isn't much at the 2 guard nowadays, which is amazing because we all grew up in an era. I don't know how much y'all really followed the game, but when about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the 2 guards were like Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade in his prime, Vince Carter, Rip Hamilton.
A couple of those players are still playing.
Yes,
Vince Carter.
Yes, so I mean, yeah, it's just like guys like that. Who?
I said Dwayne. He said Vince Carter. I said, well, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, but he's
Dwayne
done.
Wade's
This
the
is his farewell tour.
Yeah, it's Carter's too, isn't it?
No,
He hasn't said anything.
He hasn't said it
he
yet.
said he
Who
wants
retires
Brady.
first, Brady or Carter?
Brady.
Brady?
Yeah.
I would give you that. I feel like football's a more
What
physical
about
sport.
Nowitzki or Carter?
Nowitzki's gone after
Nowitzki.
this year.
Yeah, that's what I think. Especially with him being hurt right now.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I feel like him and Carter's like, someone's going to go first. Who's going to keep going?
There you go.
Well, see,
going.
like the crazy thing is though, I would have probably. Oh, another good shooting guard would have been Ray Allen. I was struggling to pull it.
Oh, I can't believe I
And
forgot about Ray Allen.
and
That's a
Michael,
sin.
and Michael Redd too.
That's a sin.
And now I forgot this. But like the thing with Nowitzki, I think it's what you were talking about, right? Nowitzki and Carter.
Yes.
So I don't see him having much else left to play for. He's got an NBA Finals. Did he ever win MVP?
Not MVP.
No.
Not MVP, I don't believe.
But he's made how many first teams? He's made
Yeah.
a bunch of first teams.
Yeah.
The guy's good.
He was the best European player, up until.
We'll see. Luka has not
Yeah,
passed
Luka
him yet.
hasn't yet.
I
Yeah.
didn't say
Luka's
it. I
done
was
very
saying
well.
that.
Luka's done very well.
But like we
Bright
gotta
future.
see it a bunch.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
And up until Porzingis got hurt, Porzingis had a chance.
still kind of
Still
good.
Still could. Still could, yeah. Still could.
Depending on
Especially
He
especially
can't
how these
run
Knicks
right now.
especially
Yeah.
after
He
these
can't
Knicks
sprint.
develop.
I
After the
think
Knicks
he's out for
develop.
this year, which
It's
is
not
great.
officially, but he can't.
Let's see how the Knicks develop. Rumors of KD and everything. If you put us, I could see.
By the
him
way,
being very good.
Knicks fans look stupid for booing Kevin Knox. Is all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah.
Because the man is
He's a
really,
monster.
really good.
Yeah.
But that kind of brings me to a point I wanted to bring up, and I know we're going really long on this podcast, but how badly does Calipari misuse players? Because how many times are we going to see this? Like, Kevin Knox comes in the league, looks great. Malik Monk looks better as a 1 than a 2.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest example is Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Bam.
Huh?
Bam.
Getting there.
Okay.
Bam is another really good example.
Yeah.
Shea Gilgeous has shown that he can shoot at times.
Did I hear that Monk's a better 1 than a 2? Is that what I heard you say?
Yes.
He
So-
gets it.
It's like,
So-
Nobody else does.
But-
Nobody else gets it.
But I think the reason that he had to play the 2 in college is because he.
well, yeah, De'Aaron
De'Aaron
Fox.
Fox, yeah.
Oh, by the way, De'Aaron Fox also.
Yeah.
Hornets fans,
Yeah.
Hornets fans don't understand that Monk would be a better 1 if given the chance. If he had a full season to get to know.
Kimba
what
would
he
be
should
the better
do.
2.
Oh, dude, I swear. Monk, he's such an underrated passer. He's such an underrated passer, and he can see the floor, and he's misused.
His court vision was amazing. Like Malik Monk did get to play the 1 a couple times at Kentucky when De'Aaron Fox went out. He got like 4, 5, 6 assists in those times. Like,
Yeah.
why? So, like, the thing I want to get into about Calipari, looking at this team right now, why, or is he trying to force Tyler Hero on the floor when he, like, late in games, he's a defensive liability, but you leave Higgins off the floor, but you've been preaching, let's give players a chance your entire career.
Yeah.
Because that was his reasoning for, trusting his boys with Harrison twins costing Kentucky a shot at the national title. but I could go an hour on
Neither of
that.
them in the league.
No,
No,
neither one.
Oh yeah, that's right. His contract with the
Andrew
Cavs right now.
just
He's
got
on a
cut.
10-day for the Pelicans.
That's
now,
right.
Which means nothing.
Yeah.
Right. That's another 10-day because he was on a 10-day
For
with
the
them last
Cavs,
year.
he was on a 10-day for the Cavs earlier, and now he's a 10-day for the Pelicans.
Right.
And they're not going to keep him.
And he's going to get a 10-day probably with the Magic, somebody else. Like, yeah. I mean, I hate to see that, but one thing he's never really done is develop players.
Yeah.
He never will.
But that's
He
not
never
his
will.
job. That's not his job, though.
It is his job.
He's a one and done guy. He said
Okay,
that since John Wall
but-
and since Derrick Rose in Memphis. He said he wants these guys to come in for a year, show that they're good, and then let someone else do it.
Okay, all right, okay.
Until recently.
I get that, but here's the thing. In today's recruiting, he's not getting everybody. And it has not on him. I'm not getting really frustrated with him on that, but because it's not just Duke beating him out for everybody. It's like all these players starting to go anywhere. Like,
yeah, it was weird seeing Duke and RJ.
Yeah, everyone else is starting to pay their players too.
That's weird getting them together.
But Duke or not? Was it Calipari lost out on RJ Barrett?
Yes.
Whenever they played and when he coached the U18 Team USA.
Yeah.
And got beat and just, got killed by RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett just saw how he was using some of those guys and didn't like him. So I don't know about the thing with Calipari is he's not adapting. Like he's still sticking with the same formula, bring guys in and still trying to send them out. Alex Poitras did not develop over 3 years. Derek Willis and Dominic Hawkins, the only reason why they developed because they got used to playing against top-level talent. It was not because of Calipari. Darius Miller was the same way. Like, Dakari Johnson did not develop over 2 years.
Yeah.
Willie Cauley-Stein only did because he had never really played football or basketball until he was a junior in high school. He just naturally developed. It wasn't developed by coaching. So, why? So, he needs to either start working on developing these kids or they're going to continue to start losing games like to Seton Halls, or
And he's going to start losing recruits more.
Yes, because even though you can look at Javon Quinterly at Villanova, a name that a lot of people might not know right now because Villanova got him as a top 15 recruit and he's not playing. Nasir Little, top 5 recruit, top 10 recruit at North Carolina. And he's averaging only 19 minutes, 18 minutes.
The only reason people know his name is because of the Arizona.
Oh, Quinterly?
Yeah.
Yeah, Quinterly, because he
Not
got there.
yeah.
You're right. But and then Nasir Little is just, he's really good, but they're not playing him. Like, you look at all these teams, they're not, like, they have these guys, they're not playing them. And Calipari, the problem he's run into is, all these kids are thinking about, staying closer to home or thinking about going to other schools and trying to chase national titles too. Or just where they can, be the number one guy. So what is he got to do? Start recruiting lower level guys and develop them. Huh?
And making them great.
Yeah, and work with them for 3 or 4 years. What's wrong with that? No one ever said that that every player should come in and be a 1-year guy and go straight into the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, what is such a bad thing about winning with 3 or 4 year guys? Like, look at Gonzaga right now.
Yeah.
Gonzaga is arguably a top 3 team they are a top 3 team in the league.
Yeah.
And they're winning with juniors and seniors and Euro guys. Well, you're international because Rui is Japanese. But
I was about to say keep it local in the SEC and look at Tennessee. Look how well Tennessee's doing.
And you know how many of them are top 100 recruits?
I have no clue.
Take a guess.
2.
I was going to say 2.
0.
0.
Or
But
none.
you got to think, what's the business of Coach Cal? Is Coach Cal? Yes, of course, Coach Cal is trying to win games. But he said it in his documentary where I can't remember the one on the 30 for 30.
Yeah.
His
One and
biggest
not done.
Yeah, one and not done. His biggest interest at that point, even with like Derrick Rose, one of the mainly the
Was
first
getting
guys
his
that did
kids
this,
to get
is
paid.
getting his kids. Yeah, and that's what it is.
And I get that.
I mean, especially these guys who didn't come from a whole lot. I mean, yes, it's important for him to win, but he is trying to make those players look as best as they can.
But it's starting to wear on the fan base.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, because
But that's how Kentucky fan bases are. They are. I love Kentucky fan base. They're toxic. Almost more
we are,
so
for
than
sure.
we are one of the. Besides Duke, we're probably one of the worst fan bases.
actually no, Duke is not that bad because Duke's fan base is really not that big. It's just a bunch of
loud.
bandwagons.
They're all loud. And,
Well, a bunch of bandwagons. But actually, I think the worst fan base is Kansas. But that's besides.
True.
That's
I'd give you
besides
North
the point.
Carolina a fight, but I'd still give it to Kansas.
So my thing is, look at Billy Donovan when he was at Florida. Like look how he was able to build freshmen into senior all-stars.
Yeah.
Like,
And turn them into NBA players.
yeah.
Look at it. The back-to-back year championship teams. You had Joakim Noah. You had Al Horford. Joakim Noah was a solid NBA player.
I know. And
But
I just remember
Coach-
that he got caught like getting on his Porsche butt ass naked.
Coach Cal, regardless of anything, Coach Cal on opening day of the NBA, he had 27 players.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the NBA.
No,
That's
I'm not
again,
taking
and
that away
yes,
from
yeah,
him.
no, granted, probably 24 of them were five-star recruits.
Yeah,
like
so-
granted, like they would have went to the NBA regardless and probably start or played. But
So I'm not saying like what he did was wrong. Like he revolutionized the game.
absolutely,
But
at
the
that
fact
point,
that-
it's advanced.
But
now.
the fact that more teams are saying, hey, when he's getting all these, these recruits as freshmen,
gonna
and then
invest
they're
in
leaving every year, and then I'm just building these guys
It's
up
hard
that
to
I've
build
had
a
for
team.
3 and 4 years. I can,
Chemistry is so undervalued.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
when you're in
especially in
college, and
college.
you can only hold people for 4 years, and it's not like the NBA where you can sign them to a 5-year contract or 6, 7, 8 years or whatever where they play on one team. You can't do that in the
It
NBA.
doesn't happen that
It
much in the
doesn't
NBA
happen.
anymore.
I know it doesn't happen very much, but even then, it's not unheard of to have 4 or 5-year contracts. How many times do you see a lot of guys going until their 4th year in the NBA draft? You don't see it now. You
And
see
it's
it
wrong,
2
but,
or
here,
3
but okay,
years.
but here's the thing. Like,
Malcolm Brogdon won Rookie of the Year, and he was how many years was he in college?
3.
He's old. He's like
3 or 4.
He's already
So like another good example is Villanova team, not this past year, but 3 years ago, when they won a national title and beat North Carolina.
Yeah.
Is that
You had
3
it.
years ago?
That's
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
And then
You're old, bud. You're old.
And then last year,
They beat Michigan. The year before that was
Butler
North Carolina.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
Villanova,
that's
North
right.
Carolina,
That's
Villanova.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Okay, so with Villanova,
That's a quiet 2 championships too, by the way. Like
Yes.
they don't flaunt that.
I like Kentucky does.
Like-
We won in what, like 2013, 2012? and
2012,
we
yeah.
still talk about it.
Yeah.
Pat P all the way.
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with the 2012 team, man. Is like the 2012 team is arguably the best team that anybody's seen.
What is
the
that?
past
For
10,
sure.
15
Five of those.
Besides the other Kentucky team that we had.
Yeah. Like all those players when in playing,
But like the
still
best,
probably
like,
playing.
but arguably the best championship.
Yeah,
team,
yeah,
like,
yeah, best
So, like,
championship team, yeah.
But like you look at that Villanova team a couple years ago. You had Jalen Brunson. You had actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and use this example.
Where's he playing right now? Jalen Brunson.
I think he's really playing anywhere.
No.
Like,
He's on a
probably.
team.
Oh, is he?
He's on a team.
Yeah, he's on a team. But I can't remember. Like so, like but like
He got drafted first round.
yeah, San Antonio. No, I don't remember.
I feel like it's a blue team. That doesn't have
Oklahoma City.
Dallas Mavericks.
It's a blue team.
It was actually the second round pick.
He had San Antonio. He was closer.
He was
It's in Texas.
second round, 33rd pick.
That's almost the first round.
Almost first. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
But,
They ended it.
but my point is, like, you look at like Villanova's 2 national title teams. Couple of guys that were on that national title team the first time were juniors and seniors on this national title team this year.
yeah.
So you build that experience up, you build that chemistry up, like the point you made, and you get 2 national titles out of that. Out of most of those players, were on both teams. Like DiVincenzo on both teams, Jalen Brunson on both teams, that Connor Gillespie on both teams, Pascal on both teams. I know Pascal isn't in the league yet, but who's the other one that was just on that team?
Bridges.
Ooh.
No.
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah. That's
was
right.
on both.
Yeah.
Josh Hart was on the
Yeah.
first one. So, I mean, you just look at, and he was there for 3 years.
Yeah.
It's like
So you can win. You can get good NBA players out of 3 and 4 year players. So it's not like, do they get the biggest contracts? Most likely, no.
They're overlooked.
But you earn it.
They should be.
And although the Louisville team, got their championship taken away, I mean, you look at Montrezl Harrell. He stayed there for 4 years. Russ Smith stayed there for 4 years. Although he's out of the league now.
Russ Smith is getting disrespected, and I will say that even though I was a Kentucky fan.
Yeah.
Donovan wasn't one and done.
Yeah.
And that's why he slipped to the third team, was because he wasn't just the youngest player in there, because he's better than Luke Kennard, damn it. Like, at least you can say he's better than Luke Kennard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Luke Kennard went before him.
Yeah, he went Bunk, Luke, Donovan. So, but my point,
now, do you regret taking Monk over Donovan?
no, because at the time it made sense.
So
I think it honestly made sense, and I still think he can't write off that Monk was a bust yet. And he'll never be as good defensively as Donovan is. I think his offense, his offense potential, I think, is higher. At the very least, I think that. At least 3-point wise.
He's definitely the better athlete.
but
I know Donovan makes crazy dunks too, but I know what I saw from Malik in college. The man can play. He was like,
And then just one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Cal, if the NBA makes a change where
that's what I was
they
about to
allow
bring up.
18-year-olds to come straight out of the thing and then college players to stay 3 years, can Cal survive in that situation?
I don't think so.
at Kentucky?
he's got to adapt.
Probably
He's
not.
got to adapt.
I don't think
but-
so. I don't think
I
so.
don't think, like
You talk about Villanova real quick. They had several guys who were on both national championship teams. You got to think of the mission that these guys are on. Again, we talked about this earlier. Cal's while it's important to win a national championship, and this man Cal will probably be praised. He needs to go to a Final Four again soon, or Kentucky waiting. But he's been praised for the longest time.
Oh, he's already a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's just like if you played high school football, no high school football coach would not in a semi-non-competitive form would be fired based on their record. It's because they did good at what they did and they turned boys into men. He's turning men into basketball players is what he's doing.
Well, and I get that, but my thing
Because
is,
he's
though,
coaching you.
how many times do we have to sit here and say that Kentucky? Just the talent didn't work out in the tournament. Like it shouldn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Like how many times is Kentucky going to lose to a team that literally just plays with a better system and more chemistry and beats them?
K-State.
West Virginia. Hey, that one's still fresh. West Virginia in 2010.
Wisconsin.
UConn in 2011.
I hate to
Wisconsin
bring that up.
in
I
2015.
hate to bring that up. But
Wisconsin in 2015. UConn, in both times they beat us in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Beat us with more experienced guys, beat us with chemistry.
Yeah.
So that's why I constantly bring that up. Yes, he's done great with the talent he brings in with the younger guys.
Although I
thing
will
is-
bring up that he made James Young look like a decent player.
Yeah.
and he's not.
You truly think he looked like a decent player here?
I-
Because I thought he was average at best when he was here.
I thought he was an above average player at Kentucky.
You know who's the most underrated player? One of the most underrated Kentucky players that he's ever had. No one ever talks about him anymore. Like fell off the face of the earth. Is Julius Randle.
Yep. Well. Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I liked Alex Poitras. He that's another one she can add to underused players from Cal.
And Poitras prior to injury this year, because I think he did get hurt, he was on a little stretch with the Hawks where he was starting to be like, okay.
Well, he played with
I
the
can see
Pacers
him
last
starting
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last year he did okay
And
with the
they
Pacers.
didn't have the money to sign
Yeah.
him back on.
Yeah.
And until he got hurt this year, I was like, okay, he's starting to become a decent little player. Then he got hurt, so we don't know.
Well,
yet.
he signed another one that's turned out to be decent.
Terrence
Very
Jones.
good.
He was all right in Houston.
Yeah, Terrence Jones' attitude cost him.
Yeah.
His temperament.
He's
cost him.
overseas right now, right? And that's weird
He's
because
hooping.
he's got some. He had some medical issues. And the same thing that Chris Bosh had. And they didn't want to re-sign him.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to sign him.
Yeah.
Ew.
Because
Yeah,
he had-
blood clots.
Yeah, so that's why he's not in the NBA right now, because he could be in the NBA right now.
Who, Terrence Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think Bosch probably could too if he wanted to.
If he wanted
I
to,
think
yeah.
he could, yeah.
He would die. He would. I'm gonna say. I fully believe that he would die.
But see, I feel that should be the player's choice.
But
Well,
you
I
can't
mean,
ignore
but
that. You
sure.
can't ignore
But
that
yeah,
as an
as a
owner.
team-
We
yeah,
talked
as a
about this.
team
We
owner-
talked about this several weeks ago, where whether or not we talked about Kevin Love with his depression issues.
Whether
and
yeah,
things like
whether
that.
teams should
whether
be,
they should have that
have a medical
say.
record.
Give him a minimum. Give him a minimum.
But I still don't like that. I don't like a player dying on my court.
That's what makes him happy.
I mean, that, to be fair, that'd be a great 30 for 30. Let's be honest, that'd be a great 30 for 30.
But we've already had one like that with
Yeah.
Bill Gathers.
Yeah.
But
A story that not enough people know.
Yeah, but like that's just a liability. I think, especially if it's a medical expense that the team has to pay for.
What do you mean? They're paying him $3 million a year anyways. What's the difference in another
You
half?
don't know how expensive the
$250,000?
surgery is. I don't know how expensive it is either. But I mean,
But
still,
even then, I'm sure they give these guys basic health insurance. I mean, come on
I'm
now.
not saying that they don't, but I'm just saying like.
Well, the only question needs to be asked was Bosch medically cleared, and the NBA was still like.
I thought he was, wasn't he?
I think he's
I
medically
think
If he was
that he
medically
was.
cleared, then I don't see an issue with
no
it.
one took a chance on it.
Yeah, if the doctor says he's medically cleared, I think he should be given a contract,
As long as he wants to.
especially in those early years. Well, this year he said he didn't want to come back. He said he wanted to play this year. Nobody picked him up. Nobody.
Surprised Toronto didn't just give him a
Nobody
10-day
gave him a
contract
workout.
and just let him,
Yeah.
play back there for one last
So
time.
then he's been on players only, like being a little here and there broadcaster.
By the way, Kevin Garnett's the best
I like Kevin Garnett.
on there. But, I mean, the biggest thing I wanted to get across to Calipari is that if he doesn't start winning games, getting or doing more than just winning national championships. Because how many national titles has he lost because of he got outcoached? 4.
Yeah. I
So-
said 3, but
Well, I count 4, but the North Carolina game still bugs me out too.
Okay.
But because we went and played stall ball, and then you give Luke May a chance to beat you.
yeah.
So my thing is that if we keep doing that, if he keeps running the same system, and keeps just getting close but gets beat by a less talented team but a better coach team, are we going to keep accepting it? Like,
I'm not.
I feel like yes, a lot of people are like, oh man, my team would love to be in the Final Four, Elite Eight every year, but it's with the talent he's doing it with. Like,
That's like if
So-
Alabama lost
so-
didn't make the playoffs 4 years in a row. Like,
yeah, Nick Saban
Yeah.
would not make it
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Saban would be gone.
I also think that Kentucky is John
It's a
Calipari's
culture.
last destination
It's a culture.
before he retires. I think this is his last stop.
Well, the guy's in his 60s now.
Yeah.
He's not young.
Yeah,
nah.
yeah, but I mean, like,
But again, you don't have to be young.
I
to
don't
coach.
think he goes
I mean,
to-
Of
you
course
can-
not. No,
I
but
don't
like,
yeah.
but like Popovich is a rarity when it comes to
Yeah.
how long you stay
I
in
bet he
the game.
retires this year. If they don't make playoffs, he's done.
Yeah, for sure.
His wife
But
died.
I think that they
His
make the
wife died
playoffs.
last year.
Listen, you don't
He
have to bring me
looks
down like that.
I'm just saying, his wife died
It's a
last
sad
year.
Yeah, we don't want to finish on this. It's like,
I don't know where else to go now. I'm trapped in the
Well-
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
you're right. But the last thing I really want to say is he either has to, like I keep saying, I want to make this the final point for me on Calipari is he either has to adapt or leave.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
and I know a lot of people would, and I don't want to get into it on this podcast. We can do it another one, but who would Kentucky then hire? Like I said, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole other case.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
just end the podcast on that note.
That's an absolute everything. Everyone can agree on that thing.
You got to adapt or leave, and we're going to end it on that.
Thank you guys very much for listening. This has been the Final Buzzer Podcast.